Field Stadium, getting ready for tonight's contest between the Tri-Valley Scotties and the Philo Electrics. We're just talking about both teams and what they've done so far this season. How are the common opponents that they've had? You might want to delve into that a little bit here.
They both played Morgan. As we mentioned, Tri-Valley handled Morgan, a good Morgan team, 42-21. A game earlier in the season that I think may have been a defining moment. Philo was defeated by Morgan right here, 7-6. And I think the promise that Philo had going into the balance of the season might have taken a hit there. They both also played Riverview. Interesting that Tri-Valley on a roll, beat Riverview 44-14, but Riverview defeated Philo 15 for the Electrics, 20 for the Black Bears. So when you look at the comparative teams, you think about a Philo team that probably has to, I think, number one, decide what kind of identity are we going to have with 3 games left in the season, and more importantly, what kind of identity are we going to have tonight?
And that's been their problem all season. Offensively, there has not been an identity. They've struggled to score at times. And this being week 8, it's probably a good thing that we should mention what the playoff situation is. And for Philo, and let's keep in mind that the top 16 teams now in each region make the playoffs, which in my own personal opinion is too many teams, but that's for another day. But Philo right now, just doing some research, they are projected as 17th, one spot out of the top 16, which would make the playoffs. They were listed as having a 35% chance of getting in the playoffs, and they need to go 5-5 to have that shot. And to do that, they got tonight against a very good Tri-Valley team, but then they also play John Glenn and Maysville. And that could be just something where they're going to have to win both of those games, maybe to possibly make the playoffs.
Well, Tri-Valley being the big one, they are a Division III team. Obviously, the bigger school, the bigger the points. John Glenn, Division III, also in Region 11.
Right.
Just 2-5, so they really need the Muskies to not only be beaten by these Electrics, but they need John Glenn to pick it up. And then
yes,
Maysville, a Division IV team with a good record, so maybe a little bit of help there for Philo. But it all comes back again, Dave, to tonight. I mean, this is a must-win, and my guess is, and you've been in this situation, you need to tell the kids, this is our season, guys. This is the game that we have to have. We need, yes, 100% effort from everybody, guys on the field, guys on the bench. We need everybody tonight.
And as for Tri-Valley, they are already in the playoffs. They're a virtual lock to be in the playoffs. As listed in the website that I was on, a 96% chance of being in the top 4 when they finish the season, which means if you're top 4, you're going to host 2 games if you can win that first playoff game. So they're in a really good situation. And of course, next week with Sheridan coming in, that's going to be a game that's going to decide the NVL Big School division. That's what that's going to boil down to there in week 9.
Well, Philo tonight, let's assume that they have it their way. That home game with Sheridan, I think, is not only important for the league title, as you mentioned, Dave. It's very important for computer points.
Right.
I think Sheridan is currently about 6th, with Tri-Valley being first. That could flip that whole region, so that's a huge game for Tri-Valley down the road. And then they close out at John Glenn in week 10. So all of their business may be out of the way by the time they get to John Glenn. But here again, I think the coach's message for their guys that is, hey, listen, these guys are competitive. They've got some seniors. They're a good team. They've had their ups and downs, but we have to play smart and error-free football tonight if we want to keep it going.
Well, and history is a little bit on the Scotty side as well. Just looking at this series history, Tri-Valley has won 16 of the last 18 meetings with Philo. Philo's last win was in the 2019 season. They got Tri-Valley that year, 27-17. But Tri-Valley had run off 14 straight wins against Philo prior to that. 2004 was the last time they had beaten Tri-Valley, and then again there in 2019. So they're also batting a little bit of history here as we continue on the TK Auto Services pregame show. There's some other games on our family of stations tonight. Warren Local is at Cambridge, and that's on 97.7 WILE and also YouTube. Barnesville is at Monroe Central, and that's on BVN. Probably the biggest game in southeastern Ohio in the smaller school side of things tonight is Fort Fry at Caldwell. Fort Fry 6-1, Caldwell 7-0. That's on KC 105, and that's also a YouTube game. Caldwell has not played a team with a winning record, as we were talking about prior to the game, but they have only given up 22 points in 7 weeks. So we're really going to see if Caldwell is for real playing against a traditional power in Fort Fry tonight.
Well, they've also averaged, I think, 52 points a game. So, they have not taken it easy on any of their opponents. But, coming back to your point, Dave, about Tri-Valley, in 2004, just about in that era, a young man came into the Tri-Valley coaching situation, Justin Buttermore, and he changed how the play was in the MVL. He brought in a 4-wide, even 5-wide sometimes, passing attack. I'm not sure the MVL at that time had really caught up, but he really brought what I think the MVL is now, and that's more of a wide open league.
And it's everyone likes to run the spread now. They've got the 4 receivers on the field, usually just one running back. I mean, you see that out of John Glenn. I know Maysville's been more of a grinded out wing tee kind of team sometimes. But seeing across the league, one of the things that's always struck me as really impressive about all these schools in the MVL is turf football fields. I mean, it's like this last week I did a game out at Union Local. That's the first game I saw on grass all season, and that was week 6, or week 7, excuse me. So, every game I broadcast was on turf, and the setting here at Philo is really unique because the stands are almost right on top of the field. There's no track. Some of the stadiums, in the area don't have tracks, like Tri-Valley, for instance, no track. Sheridan, no track. So you get more of that homey feeling, and I think a lot of that here at Philo, because the stands are really close to the field, the fans get really into the game. You feel like you're much more a part of it here. And all across the MVL, great crowds. Tonight's the homecoming here at Philo, so another really nice crowd. Tri-Valley obviously travels well, and Philo here with a big crowd for their homecoming.
Well, a great atmosphere, as you mentioned. Weather, I do not think will be a factor tonight. No chance of rain. A little crisp in the air, maybe 50, 55 degrees when we kick off here in just a couple, 3 minutes. Wind probably not going to really determine the passing game. And speaking of that, you have to go with Tri-Valley sophomore quarterback Max Lyle. Really a dual threat guy who can really air it out as well as tuck it under and go. And I believe Tri-Valley also has an injured starter back tonight in the running game.
Right, and Jaden Wallace has done more than an adequate job the last couple of weeks running the football for Tri-Valley, but we're looking for Drake Durst to be back in tonight. He's missed the last couple of weeks because of an injury, but we're expecting him to play, and we'll see how that pans out here shortly. Also, as you mentioned, Max Lyle, he's got over 1,400 yards passing here through 7 weeks of the season, so he's having a really nice year so far. 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He's just a threat. I mean, he can throw the football, does all kinds of nice stuff for Tri-Valley, and of course, with the running game, Wallace has done really well. Durst had such a great, first 8 weeks of the season. So then also Hansel Holmes is another big factor, and then on the defensive side, Aaron Frew, he is a disruptive force, and we're going to see him on offense as well as the defensive side of the ball tonight.
Tri-Valley will receive the football. Back deep will be for the Scotties, Jaden Walker and Thomas Williams.
And there's been a little bit of an issue with the kicking game here for Philo. Their kicker actually broke his ankle, so they have been a team that's been going for 2 here, and that can be a deciding factor in the football game, because we are having, when you got to do it's one of those things where they've got to have somebody step in, and instead of trying to go for 2 all the time.
Austin Tysinger will be the kickoff man for the Electrics, and my personal opinion, and nothing personal against linemen, but when you have a lineman as your kicker, it just tells me that you've got some guys who are playing soccer who you could use kicking off. But generally the linemen boot it far, and we'll see what happens with Mr. Tysinger tonight.
All right, Austin Tysinger ready to tee it up here for Philo and get this game underway. Back deep, you said, we've got two people back there for Tri-Valley. Jalen Walker is a deep threat, a little squib kick, and that's going to be picked up right about the 33-yard line. Walker's got it, and he's brought down quickly at the 35. From what I understand, we need to take a quick break here, so we'll be right back in about 30 seconds. You're watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
The car is making a strange noise.
AVC Sports presents high school football. This game was brought to you by Doan Ford, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med.
TK Auto Service, east of New Concord and minutes from Cambridge on Route 40.
Hey, this is Ted with TK Auto Service. Give us a call at 826-4916. That's 826-4916. Make us your repair service for all your vehicle care.
Backfield running the show for the Scotties. He's got three receivers, two to his right, one of those being Ashton Sensabaugh, who's got 647 yards and 9 touchdown receptions on the year so far for the Scotties.
Durst in the pistol formation, now goes to the left side of Lyle.
Lyle anticipates a snap. He's going to hand it, but he keeps it, fires to a slant right across the middle, but that ball was dropped by Jaden Walker. He would have had the first down at about the 47-yard line, but in and out of his hands, and maybe a little defensive pressure there that knocked that ball away. Third down now for the Scotties, just underway in Duncan Falls, 11:15 to play here in the first quarter.
And as you mentioned, Dave, Tri-Valley right to the line of scrimmage. They stay in the pistol.
Lyle still in that pistol formation. He's got Durst back there. Big third down play here early in the football game. Philo needing a stop to get their defense off the field and give their offense a chance here early. Durst moves up to the right side of Lyle. Lyle scanning the field, fires it into the flat, caught out at the 50-yard line, and that's going to be a first down for the Scotties. That was Jaden Walker on the reception, and that's going to bring up an easy first down pitch and catch now for Tri-Valley.
Clean pocket that time for Lyle, and very little pass rush by Philo.
Lyle back in that pistol formation again. That's what they seem to do almost every play. Every player turns and looks to that sideline to get the signal, so they're all on the same page. It's a very popular offensive concept now. In that shotgun or pistol formation, he's going to hand it off to the Durst. Durst bursts through the right side. He's going to pick up about 7 yards on first down, and that's going to bring up a short 2nd and 3. Durst, nice carry, nice hole on the right side, and again, Tri-Valley with some tempo up to the line of scrimmage as Philo makes a little substitution here on defense, trying to get some fresh people in the football game.
Durst, 2 carries, 11 yards here in the early going.
Nobody in the backfield here with Lyle. He's going to be back there all by his lonesome, but he's got 5 receivers in the pattern this time.
Philo stays in motion.
That's Wilson.
3-man rush.
They're going to pitch it over there to Williams, who's on the left side. He's got it on the corner, and he stretches and finds that first down just across the Philo 40-yard line all the way down to the 39. And there's a third straight first down, WB Green Insurance first down by the Scotties.
Well, as I go back to the 3-man front, I think the first adjustment's probably going to have to be for the Electrics. Rushing 3 guys and dropping 8 into coverage, I'm not sure that they're not going to have to somehow put some more pressure on Lyle.
I think you're exactly right, Howard. They're going to get they need to get some more pressure here on Lyle. First down. Lyle fakes that handoff. He looks in that slant again. He's got Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh caught it, but he's tackled immediately. But that's all the way down to the 39-yard line, a gain of about 5. And that'll bring up a second down and a short 5 here for the Scotties. 9:35 to play in the first quarter, clock moving. Tri-Valley again showing that they're going to use that up-tempo offense all night long.
Drew Lincecum on the tackle that time for the Electrics.
Hansel Holmes has joined Lyle and Durst in the backfield for the first time in this football game. Still got 3 receivers out there, Sensabaugh being one of those. And there's a little counter action in the backfield. Holmes has got the football, trying to fight ahead. They only got about a yard. Still positive pickup there on that second down play. I guess maybe no gain there instead, Howard, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and 5.
Better job by the Electrics. The linebackers came up. They walked up to the line of scrimmage expecting the run. They made the right defensive call and a good stop by the Electrics.
All right, 4 receivers. Trips to the left for Lyle. Lyle's going to take a look over on the sideline. Still got Durst behind him. Durst has missed the last 2 football games, but he is in there tonight. Lyle, this could be looks like a passing down here for the Scotties, but fakes it to Durst, looks to his left, he's looking deep, all the way down to Sensabaugh, I believe, and that Sensabaugh cut it at the 5, takes it into the end zone for the Tri-Valley touchdown. What a throw from Max Lyle, right on the number to Sensabaugh, and that's his 10th touchdown of the season.
Well, that's going to end up being a 34-yard strike. But the main thing for Tri-Valley is they caught Philo completely one-on-one, man-to-man with the 5 wide as we wait the extra point from Carter Dinan.
Dinan, snap down, hold is good, kick is up, and that is also good, and it's 7-0 Tri-Valley with 8:27 to go in the first quarter. We'll take a short break. You're watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
I didn't hear what you said, Brenda. Oh, okay. Okay.
Back in Duncan Falls, 8:27 to go in the second quarter. Tri-Valley has just grabbed the early lead, 7-0, on a 34-yard touchdown pass from Max Lyle to Ashton Sensabaugh. Lyle, that's his 20th touchdown pass on the season, and that's 10 of those have been to Sensabaugh. Pretty much an unstoppable duo here early in the season.
Especially when it's one-on-one, the way that corner route was run.
Dinan going to kick the ball off for the Scotties. Tri-Valley off to a fast start here in this one. Dinan gets his foot into it. It's going to be caught all the way down on the 12-yard line. It looks like Lincecum that's got it, and he comes up and he takes a huge hit right on about the 22-yard line. Decent return, going to get it back past the 20, but I'd like to get that kick out past the 30 to establish a really nice field position, but they're going to mark that down at about the 24-yard line, and that's where Philo's going to set up shop, 1st and 10 for their first possession of this football game.
10-yard return. Let's see who opens up at the QB spot for the Electrics. I think it's probably going to be Fink.
That's been a question for us, and it's looking like Talon Preston instead is the one that's back there.
We'll go that route.
We were guessing here. Preston in the backfield in that same pistol formation, and he's going to hand that ball off. And that went to Cade Searles, and he doesn't get much, trying to get out on that left side and turn the corner, but he doesn't get it done. And that's going to be a no gain and bring up a 2nd and 10 here for the Electrics on their first possession here.
Ethan Holmes on the stop that time, along with some help from Jake Slobodin for Tri-Valley.
Slobodin has been a dynamite player here for the last couple of years for Tri-Valley. He's been he's a hitter. The games that I have covered at Tri-Valley, he makes a lot of contact on defense. Preston still back in that pistol. He's going to hand the ball off this time straight ahead, and a little bit of space there. That looks like that was Lincecum on the carry, going through that right side of the line. Nice pickup there. Got about 5, and it's going to bring up, give him 5 yards there. It's going to bring up 3rd and 5. And this is a big play for the Philo offense. They need to keep possession and keep the chains moving here in early going.
Good play call by Philo. They found the linebacker for Tri-Valley trying to take the slot receiver, and that helped the running room along the right side.
Philo, 3rd and 5 here. Clock moving, just over 7 minutes to play. Tri-Valley changing that defensive alignment. Preston's got his man in motion there, and there's a flag that's thrown, and they're going to call illegal procedure, and that's just what the Philo Electrics did not need. They had a 3rd and manageable there, Howard, and now it's going to go back to a 3rd and 10.
It looked like they were in the same formation where they're making the Tri-Valley linebackers decide, okay, am I going to play the run or am I going to play the flat pass? And that time, I think in anticipation of that, the right tackle for the Electrics moved prematurely.
And that was Fink that was in motion. I think he might have started a little bit before the snap toward the line of scrimmage, so therefore the illegal procedure call. 3rd down and 10 now. Talon Preston running the show. Steps back in the pocket, throws a little swing pass out on the flat, and that's Fink that's caught it, and he gets it out over the 31-yard line, maybe the 31 and a half, but that's going to be short of that first down, and I think there's not much of a decision that needs to be made. This is going to bring up a 4th down punt for the Electrics.
Well, you obviously would have liked to have gotten the first down, but in this particular case, at this particular point of the field, 31 yards, still midway first quarter, you have to punt the football away.
You definitely need to punt it in this situation. Zach Savage back to punt the ball for the Electrics, gets the foot into it, and it's going to be caught all the way down at the 34-yard line, and that's Williams. He finds a little spot, and he gets it out to midfield. Nice return there, and that's going to bring up a 1st and 10 for the Scotties in the Philo half of the field. A great starting position here, and a nice return from Thomas Williams.
17 yards for Williams, and as Dave mentions, it puts up Tri-Valley in Philo field position at the 49-yard line of the Electrics. And let's see what kind of adjustments Philo's making defensively. Looks like they're starting to, now they're going to keep the 3-man, 4-linebacker look. And again, Tri-Valley is just spreading them way out.
Max Lyle back in the backfield again, and this might be a time where they take a shot deep here. You get to stop. You got some momentum. They got some one-on-one coverage out here on Jaden Walker. He's had a huge season himself in catching the football. Wow, this time he's going to hand it off though to Durst. Durst hit early, but he's still going to go forward. Bounced ahead for a couple of yards there. And they just gave him 1, so he's going to have a 2nd and 9 now for the Scotties.
And you get the feeling Philo's strong against the run. Well, let's see what's going to happen when they pass. That's 12 yards rushing for Durst on 4 carries.
Lyle looking over to the sideline once again. Tri-Valley in the white and black here. Philo sporting those camouflage uniforms that people can't see the numbers very well. Lyle pitches it to Durst. Durst got the left side. He gets the corner. He's trying to get it. He cuts in front of 2 defenders, splits a couple, gets to the 40-yard line. Nice pickup there on that 2nd down play. Going to bring up a 3rd and about 1 yard here for Tri-Valley.
Give credit to Drew Hines for Tri-Valley with a great lead block, a kick-out block on the outside corner, 3rd and short.
No spread this time. Lyle right to the line. Fakes the handoff. Pressure. He's going to get dragged down in the backfield. It looked like they were going to try to take a shot there on a play-action play, and Lyle didn't have anywhere to go. Actually, loses yard. Going to bring up 4th and 2. And I'll say this much. In the 2 years that I've covered Tri-Valley, Cam West will roll the dice.
Oh, no question.
There's no way I think he was going to think about punting here. And he's got confidence in his offense. Philo needing a stop here.
With 4 down linemen now for the Electric, so a little bit of adjustment. Their goal line package, perhaps.
Lyle, 5 receivers. He's going to run it, designed run, and he's going to get ahead and make that 1st down yardage, although a flag comes flying in late, and that's usually in that holding spot, Howard, where that flag got thrown.
First time we've seen the quarterback keep play by Tri-Valley, and again, I think that's in part because of the formation. When you've got Philo spread out, we'll get the call here in a second.
And they're going to mark that off. It's a face mask against Philo, so add some yardage onto that play. Not only did the 1st down, but they got the yardage on the face mask, so Tri-Valley now on the verge of getting it into the red zone and all the way down to the 33.
But coming back to formation, nobody can account for the quarterback when you've got all of the Tri-Valley guys just, in that particular case, 4 wide, and as Dave mentioned, sometimes 5 wide, back to the pistol.
Lyle in the gun again. Durst to his left, fakes that handoff. He's looking at that slant. It's not there. He takes it off up the middle of the field, and he's not going to get very far. He might have got half a yard, if anything, but that was a wise decision. I thought nice coverage there from the defensive backfield of Philo. Forced Lyle to tuck the ball and run, and he actually lost maybe a half yard. So 2nd and 10 and a half for the Scotties.
Great tackle that time by Zach Savage for the Electrics. And what I think Philo does well, and it's certainly in this first quarter with the clock moving, is they really stop the run. They're very committed that way. Wouldn't surprise me if Tri-Valley starts to take a couple of shots.
They've done very well against the run, as you pointed out here so far, Howard. Lyle back in that shotgun again. He's going to hand it to Durst. He's got a little bit of space, but that space gets eaten up quickly there as he's brought down a short gain, maybe half of a yard. That was Braden Bernard coming up from his linebacker position, making a really nice open field tackle. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 10 for the Scotties. And again, that's 2 plays to get 10 yards here, Howard.
They'll look back over as they do. And the reason teams look over to the sideline for the play call is the coaches look at the defensive formation, and then they decide what to do from there.
All right, Lyle drops back, fires it, and he's got a wide open Sensabaugh who tips it up to himself, comes down with a football all the way down on the 3-yard line. Spectacular grab by Sensabaugh. He tipped it up in the air, and that's usually the one that gets intercepted, but he was able to collect that, and he gets brought down at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal for Tri-Valley.
Good enough for 30 yards on a seam route. In the slot was Sensabaugh. He took that inside seam, a nice strike that time by Lyle.
1st and goal, Tri-Valley at the 3-yard line. 7-0, 2:25 to play in the first quarter. Tri-Valley on the doorstep of scoring again. And they got Lyle out of the game, and they brought in Jaden Walker, and he tried to make a little move in the backfield, and that's one I think you just got to take straight ahead. There's no time for dancing in the backfield.
You know, I think that's probably a play that they've worked on over the season and thought, okay, now's a good time to give it a whirl, and I think they said, okay, let's put that back in the canister.
This time, Lyle back as the quarterback, and he's got Hansel Holmes, and he's also got Drake Durst in the backfield. Last time in this formation, we saw a little counter running play here. Durst in motion, going to hand it to Holmes. He's got a little bit of a hole, and he gets up to the 5-yard line. Maybe got a couple yards back that they lost on that first down play, but and there's a fumble in there. That wasn't a fumble. It was a reaction from the Philo defensive players. Thought they might have taken the football away, but they did not. That's going to bring up 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line here.
I think what Tri-Valley is learning is that Philo interior defense, very, very strong. They may think about trying to stretch something to the outside, not necessarily a pass, but get Lyle or Durst on the edge.
Lyle back in the gun. Durst up to his right hip. Fakes that handoff. Looks at that slant, and he's got it. And that's Williams wide open at the goal line. Catches it, rolls into the end zone, and that's a touchdown for Tri-Valley.
Well, you know, we've said this quite a bit here in this first quarter, under a minute to go. Tri-Valley passing game is clearly early on here the difference in this game. Philo defensively, formation-wise, just has no answer. They have been great against the run. They're going to have to make some adjustments passing. 13-0 now, trying to add that PAT. Dinan with the kick, and that is right down Broadway, and that's going to make it 14-0 here. Tri-Valley Scotties leading in this one. We're going to take a quick break. You are watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
AVC Sports presents high school football. This game was brought to you by Doan Ford, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abel's, Valentine Insurance, Wayne's Garage Door, Papa John's Pizza, Galaxy's Pizza, 209 Tire, and Guernsey County Children's Services.
Valentine Insurance kickoff. And Dinan kicks it end over end, and it's going to be caught down on about the 16-yard line. Up there's a hole, and he gets it out over to 35 all the way to the 40-yard line. Nice return there, and I think that was Seth Henning, 25 yards. I thought that was Drew Linscomb for a second, but that was Seth Henning. Nice return there all the way to the 40. Good starting field position here for Philo.
And the kicker, Carter Dinan, on the tackle that time, special teams for the Scotties. And go ahead, Dave.
Well, our crack statistician has told us So far, Max Lyle, 5 for 6, 89 yards and 2 touchdowns here early in the game. Direct snap there, and that went back to, and that was
going to be Preston.
Yeah, that was Preston. He's still the quarterback. And there's a nice positive play there, just a design run for the quarterback, and he gets it ahead and picks up that WB Green Insurance first down all the way into Tri-Valley territory for the first time tonight for the Electrics.
That's their best run of the night. And it appears as though for Philo, as we're rolling down the end of the first quarter, their best running lane seems to be on their right side of the field. And that's something that we'll keep an eye on. Tri-Valley in the 4-down lineman front look with the 2 linebackers.
Snap back, and they're going to hand that ball off. Nice move, and he's got the corner. He's got it up to about the 35-yard line. Nice running play there again, and that was Cade Searles that they handed off to, and he got that right edge and got up with another WB Green first down.
15 yards on the carry. Cade Searles, normally one of their really good receivers, so an opportunity that time to carry the football. He does a nice job. And again, right to that right side. So Philo, I think, sees something.
And that might be the last play of the first quarter as we're down underneath 10 seconds here. Philo up to the line of scrimmage. They might get it snapped here before the clock expires to end this quarter. Philo now. And that's going to end it here on this first quarter. So we'll take a 1-minute break here. You're watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
All these in the first quarter right now.
AVC Sports presents high school football. This game was brought to you by Doan Ford, patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abel's, Valentine Insurance, Wayne's Garage Door, Papa John's Pizza, Galaxy's Pizza, 209 Tire, and Guernsey County Children's Services.
Or 7060, or shoot them a message and follow them on Facebook at Greg's Motor Sale.
Philo Electrics moving left to right. Preston looking to pass. Now he's up in the pocket. He's going to scramble. He's going to run and not get very far.
And back in Duncan Falls, that first down play there, Talon Preston on the design quarterback run for the second time in this drive. He picks up a couple, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 8 here for the Electrics as they're trying to get back in this football game as they trail 14-0 here, just underway in the second quarter.
First quarter numbers for Philo, they had 32 yards rushing, led by Talon Preston's 12, 1 for 1, 7 yards passing. For Tri-Valley, it was Durst for 20, and they had 37 yards rushing, but Lyle, as Dave mentioned, the big guy in the first quarter.
Searles in motion, and that ball was fumbled in the backfield. Preston had to I think he intended to hand it off to Searles on that little jet sweep motion, but they got tangled up, didn't get a clean exchange, and that ball luckily stays in the Electrics' possession, and they're going to have a 3rd and 10, and again, shooting themselves in the foot where they've got a 2nd and manageable. Now it's 3rd and a tough down and distance here for their offense.
First time we've seen that play tonight off that formation, and I think just a little bit of miscommunication, one guy going just a little bit too quick, but now they're come back to the sideline with the play clock down under 10 seconds for the play, so they're going to have to hurry up and get to the line.
All right, Electrics up to the line of scrimmage quickly. Preston still running the show, and they're going to call a timeout. I think that's a wise move there by Philo because they were getting in a little bit of a hurry, and they've got to be on the same page here because they're down 14-0. This is a very important possession in this football game.
Well, it's a tough situation because, as we indicated, when your quarterback comes over to the sideline and that takes time off the play clock as it was running down, that tells you something along the lines of this is something we haven't practiced, or this is something that we've just seen defensively for Tri-Valley, so we need to do this. And unfortunately, the play clock just wouldn't allow them to get it clean. So they take the timeout, no loss of yardage, so 3rd down and 10 it remains.
Thanks to all our sponsors tonight. Doan Ford, patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance Company, WB West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abel's Incorporated, Valentine Insurance, AMG Vanadium, White Pillars Christmas Store, and Greg's Motor Sales. 3rd and 10 here for the Electrics. Preston back in the pocket. He was looking downfield, but now he's flushed out of the pocket. He's trying to scramble and run for that first down, and he's going to be close to picking up the first down. And he's hit late out of bounds, I believe, and that's going to give him the first down via penalty, because I don't think he got there on the run. Almost picked it up, about a 9-yard run, but I think they're going to tack on some yardage for that penalty, Howard.
Hansel Holmes was trailing the play and came over. Now, in defense of Holmes, and it is clearly a personal foul, late hit out of bounds, but in defense of the young man, the sideline and the stands barrier,
it's really close.
Very, very close. And sometimes when your momentum is carrying you, you don't have a choice. So it's a break for Philo, but let's give Holmes a little bit of slack.
1st and 10 for the Electrics now on the Scotties 13-yard line, desperately needing a touchdown to get back in this one, as it's 14-0 with 10:18 to play here in the second quarter. Preston has been the quarterback of the night tonight. Not much. They've been known to use multiple quarterbacks, but they're sticking with Preston tonight. Preston, high snap. He gets it down. He hands it to Lincecum. Lincecum fights his way forward up to the middle of the field, and he's going to be marked inside the 10-yard line. A nice pickup there of about 4 yards. Going to bring up 2nd and 6 for the Electrics here.
And no doubt 4-down territory for Philo, but you mentioned that Preston doing the work tonight. They have shown this year some Strickland at quarterback, some Fink at quarterback, but it appears as though they're going to stay with Preston, at least it looks like the first half.
Preston got a power eye back there, and he's going to hand it off to the first man there. He kept it. Nice fake there from Preston, and he fights forward on that left side. Not much room there. Only picked up a couple of yards, and that's going to bring up a 3rd and about 3.
Nice job defensively by the Philo, or the Scotties. That's Hansel Holmes from the linebacker spot coming up and making the stop.
They've done a good job blocking Aaron Frew, who's a major disruptive presence over there on that right side of the Scotties defensive line. He is a load, and he is an all-Ohio performer from last year, honorable mention. Back to Preston. He's going to hand it off again. This time, hands it up there, and it doesn't get very much. I don't think he even got a yard there. And that's going to bring up 4th down, and Tri-Valley with some defensive substitution here. Another big play in the football game.
Yeah, they're bringing a couple of the bigger guys for their goal line stand, and just daring Philo to try to throw the ball on 4th down. So the question is would you dare do it on 4th down and goal from the 5-yard line?
All right, Preston getting some instruction, and the play clock is running down under 10 seconds, and they're going to call another timeout here.
Same deal as before, Dave. Just unsure of what the play call is going to be. Now, in defensive talent, Preston, difficult situation when you've been the 3rd quarterback for the season.
You know it.
And sometimes it takes a little while to get it going. But in defensive, Philo, though, if you're not sure, take the timeout. I mean, don't go out there and invent something. Take your time out.
And you're not going to carry them over into the second half. And it's, as we've said, this is an important possession because they do not want to let Tri-Valley get ahead and run away and hide from them in this football game. It's 14-0 here. A score here gets them back to within a score, and that's where they need to be. They don't need to be down 21-0 or 20-0. They need to score and get back in this game.
And for Philo, if they don't score here, Tri-Valley takes over. Philo may not get the ball back in the second quarter.
All right, we've got Preston running the show. He's got 2 running backs with him. It's going to be handed off to Lincecum, and he is not going to get it. No room in the middle of that Tri-Valley defensive line. Only gets to the 5-yard line, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. Big play from the Scotties to get off the field defensively.
Emery Sparks that time for Tri-Valley. A senior, what else can you expect? And now the danger for Philo is, I really think Tri-Valley, now with the change of possession, Philo being a little bit down mentally, could just run this clock the entire 8:24.
Or they might go up top and try to hit the big play early. So
good.
Tri-Valley now with the ball on their own 5-yard line. Lyle in the backfield. This time we get I think he's brought in his other running back in the backfield this time, and that's Jaden Wallace.
On his left hip here, and he
and he's going to hand it off to him. Wallace gets to the outside, bursts through the side on the right line, and he gets out to about the 12-yard line. Nice pickup, but there is a flag down, and it is going to be holding against Tri-Valley, and that's going to be a half the distance to the goal. Wallace did a nice job there turning upfield and picking up some positive yards, but that's going to come back on the hold.
Yeah, Wallace has been the main guy the last couple of weeks with Durst being injured, and he has piled up some very impressive numbers. And you can see just by that run, very, very explosive on that first step. Made a great jump cut to cut it to the outside.
Wallace with 451 yards and 3 touchdowns in his own right here. Lyle all the way back in his own end zone this time. This is a danger time. This is one that would make me nervous when you're snapping that ball back to the quarterback. And now we got a stoppage in play. And the referee's coming over. There's a football that came onto the field. The kids playing out there beyond the fence got that their own football into the end zone. So we'll stop and play here. And we're going to pick it back up again. Lyle in his own end zone. Fakes that handoff, looking to throw that slant, and it is out of the reach of Ashton Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh couldn't come up with that one. Again, a nice clean pocket there for Lyle, but just couldn't connect with his receiver.
Yeah, they like to run those seam routes with Sensabaugh. They line him up in the slot both right and left, and he's able to get that first break. At that time, just an errant pass by Lyle. He'll make up for it.
Second down and about 12 here now after that penalty on the Scotties on first down. Lyle going to get this snap back in the end zone. Single running back, and again, it's Jaden Wallace. He's got 2 receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Pitches it back to Wallace in the backfield, and he gets it upfield. He makes a cut, makes a man miss. He's all the way out to the 25-yard line and gets knocked out of bounds. Nice pickup there by Jaden Wallace, and again, showing that burst of speed that he has to get out on the right side and pick up that first down.
21 yards on the first down carry, something Tri-Valley hasn't shown, that little pitch out. And off they go, 1st and 10.
And again, Cam West not afraid to let his people handle the ball in the end zone. I mean, he will roll the dice whenever he feels like it. So, Lyle now still in that shotgun. Still got Wallace in the backfield with him. In the pocket, throws the ball deep across the middle. Sensabaugh's got this one all the way out at the 45-yard line, and he's knocked down at the 47, and that's going to be another WB Green Insurance first down for the Scotties. And on the play, Searles might have got dinged a little bit. He's going to walk off the field. Thankfully, he can walk off the field, but looking a little bit like he might have hurt a leg there.
25-yard pass completion to Sensabaugh. And again, as we mentioned, Tri-Valley, so explosive, just taking their time, running the clock down.
Lyle trips to his right, going to hand it to Wallace. Wallace trying to use that speed. He bursts through a hole on the right side. He's got the first down and more, all the way across the 40 down to the 35-yard line. Jaden Wallace ripping off his 3rd big run of this drive. Another WB Green Insurance first down for Tri-Valley at the Philo Electrics 36-yard line. Quickly back to the line. Lyle in the shotgun. They look over again to that sideline. Tri-Valley now running that clock. 7 minutes to go here until halftime. They lead this one 14-0 and looking for more here on a drive that started all the way down on their own 5. Lyle's got the instructions. Durst back in the football game. Turns, fires, gets down the sideline, and a nice leaping grab by Jaden Walker all the way down at the 12-yard line. Beautiful catch by Jaden Walker. He went up and got it, high-pointed it, and brought the ball in for that first down.
24 yards on the reception, and I tell you, it was good defensive coverage that time, and just an excellent ball. This Lyle is very impressive. He has outstanding touch, especially for a sophomore.
Those long balls that he has thrown have been on the money, and the receivers have helped him out. They've made some nice grabs.
7 of 9, 138 yards, and the 2 touchdown passes for Lyle.
Lyle back in the gun, all the way down on the 12-yard line of Philo. This time he's going to hand it off to Durst. Durst right up the middle of the field. He's going to take it all the way down. Going to be marked just shy of the 5-yard line, all the way down. It looks like the 6 or 7-yard line, 6-yard line. Another nice pickup on first down. Durst doing some damage there on the ground. 2nd and 5. Lyle still in that shotgun. Going to look over and try to get the instructions again. We're down to 6 minutes and 15 seconds to go until halftime.
Press coverage by Philo that time. Everybody up on the receiver.
got unplugged. All right, a little bit of a technical difficulty there as we missed the play there, but now it's going to bring up third down, marked on the 5-yard line here. Another big play here in this football game. Tri-Valley knocking on the door, trying to get in the end zone once again. 3rd and 2 here from the Electrics 5-yard line.
You know, if they don't get it here, something they may want to consider that they may need down the road playoff-wise is a field goal try. But let's see what happens first.
Hansel Holmes going to get the direct snap. He passes it. He's got Williams. Williams spin move, hit that B button and got all the way down. Not quite to the goal line, but he has picked up that first down. A WB Green Insurance first down and goal now for Tri-Valley as they're knocking on the door down at the 1-yard line.
Well, forget the field goal try. Work on that next week.
Maybe work on that next week. You're right. Holmes still in that Wildcat formation. Here comes the snap to Holmes. He's going to keep it. Powers ahead, and he's in the end zone, and that's a touchdown for Tri-Valley. 1-yard touchdown run from Hansel Holmes, and that's pushed this lead up to 20-0 now for the Scotties.
Do you get the feeling on that drive, Dave, that Tri-Valley was just working on things for Sheridan next week?
You know, I think they're trying to show them as much as they can. Nice play there. And, you know, just a different look. Holmes getting that direct snap, and he's going to get an easy touchdown there. Nice hole opened by the offensive line. And that kick is going to be just snuck in the left side. Almost got blocked there, but Dinan again with that extra point. And that's going to make it 21-0 Tri-Valley here with 5:03 left in the second quarter. We'll pay some bills here. You're watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
What is a cooperative?
AVC Sports presents high school football. This game was brought to you by Doan Ford, patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abel's, Valentine Insurance, Wayne's Garage Door, Papa John's Pizza, Galaxy's Pizza, 209 Tire, and Guernsey County Children's Services.
Balls. Dave Hilliard, Howard Twiggs as Tri-Valley made a big defensive stand, got the ball back on their own 5-yard line, and put together a 95-yard drive that ended with that Hansel Holmes 1-yard touchdown run to give them a 21-0 lead here with 5 minutes to go until halftime. And they're going to kick this ball off, and this is a huge possession for the Scotties. And this John Valentine Insurance kickoff is booted all the way down. Ball hits at the 15-yard line, picked up, and it's run back on the left sideline all the way out across the 25-yard line, all the way now marked at the 26-yard line, and that's going to be 1st and 10 for the Electrics.
10-yard return that time by Philo. Now, here's the situation. You're down 21-0, 4:57 to go here in the second quarter. You know that Tri-Valley can strike quickly. Your choice is, let's try to establish the run and try to go down maybe 21-7 at the break, or let's try to get back into it right now with the big play. And I'm thinking you probably run the ball.
I'm looking on the play sheet for my best offensive play right now. This time direct snap back there, and that's going to be maybe a 1-yard pickup on that. And I think that time that was Preston again, the direct snap, quarterback run, little or no gain, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 10 now for the Electrics.
Mason Prouty. I tell you, we've called several defensive linemen's numbers tonight for Tri-Valley. You know, lots of people talk about their offense. This is a really good defensive team.
And, you know, this team got beat by DeSales 28-0. Tri-Valley got 32 yards of offense. I would like to see DeSales what they look like.
I would like to see that game played maybe week 4 or 5 also.
Yeah, give your sophomore a little chance to get some experience. And Preston, that time the snap was bobbled, looked like maybe a busted play as he ended up running that to his left and maybe getting a yard, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 9. And now a clock running, still 4 minutes to go. If they have to give the ball back to Tri-Valley, they're in a danger zone because Tri-Valley with that quick strike offense could get on the board again before halftime.
Yeah, now do you also want to risk passing it on 3rd down and 8, or do you want to take your lumps by running the football, punting it away, and taking your chances defensively? If Tri-Valley's playing pass, watch out for the pick.
All right, right, Preston back in the shotgun. He's going to throw it this time. Drops back in the midfield. Now he tries to run for his life as he is under pressure, and he is brought down in a sack of about 2-yard loss, and that's going to bring up 4th and 10 here for the Electrics, and they're going to have to kick it away. I don't know if Tri-Valley's thinking about a timeout, but they've got 3 left. Maybe he's just going to save them all for when they've got the football. If I'm Philo, I'm not going to get in a big hurry to kick this thing. It's still 20 seconds on the play clock.
Emery Sparks on the sack that time for Tri-Valley, so extra lunch for him in the cafeteria this week.
And the punt's going to be kicked away from about the 18. It's going to bounce. Williams gets away from it and it rolls past him, and it's going to roll all the way down to the 25-yard line, inside the 25, all the way to the 24. A great kick to get Philo out of trouble there, and that's going to be a big play in the game. That's one you'd like the receiver to come up and make that play and not let it roll.
That will go as a 48-yard punt because of the roll, but you could see the kind of the smacking of the hands of each other. They know that they could have returned it, and they'll take care of that in films.
Savage with a nice kick there. All right, 2:46 to play. Tri-Valley's got 3 timeouts. The clock stops after first downs when the ball's out of bounds. It's a lot of time in high school football. Lyle still in that shotgun, flips it to Durst. Durst makes a cut back to his right. Got some room up the middle of the field now, and he's going to pick up about 7 yards. And about 6 yards, excuse me, and that's going to be 2nd and 4. Tri-Valley now with some tempo. Clock running, 2:30 to go until halftime. Lyle in the gun. They're still taking that time to look over to the sideline. Usually there's multiple coaches giving signals because it's supposed to confuse the other team as to who's giving the real signals. Lyle, Durst blocking, clean pocket, fires down the middle of the field. Holmes goes up and gets it up midfield, and he's dragging defenders all the way down to the 40-yard line. Great catch from Holmes. He refuses to go down, drags 3 or 4 Philo players with him all the way down to the 40-yard line. 1st and 10, WB Green Insurance, 1st and 10 on the 40-yard line of the Electrics.
29 yards, and they love those seam routes.
Yes, they do. Lyle in the gun. Clock running now, 2 minutes to play. No 2-minute warning here in high school football, but I'll give you the 2-minute warning. That clock now down to 1:53. 3 timeouts left for Tri-Valley. They're in business in Philo territory. Snap back this time, handed to Wallace. Wallace in the game at running back, and he bursts through the right side of the line for about 5 yards, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 5. And that clock's still moving here, and I think they're going to call a timeout.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dave, this is where clock management comes into play for, again, down the road playoffs and possibly against Sheridan here coming up. Okay, we've got the situation with a couple of minutes to go, and we've got all 3 timeouts, and we're not quite in the scoring range at the other team's 38. What do we want to do? Let's make sure we do it right.
And as you said, this is one of those things where they know they're going to be in the playoffs. So they're looking ahead. And they also have a big game next week. So they're going to be trying to work on some things that maybe they need in those situations where it's a tight football game, where they've already done it in game conditions. You can practice it as much as you want, but game conditions are so much different. And it's like Mike Tyson always said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
Well, for Tri-Valley, I think they've proven to themselves they can pass the football. They've done a great job of running. You got to think, okay, what else do we need to work on? Maybe our short yardage plays, something between the guard and tackle, maybe even on this play.
All right, Lyle, this time trips to the left, one receiver to his right. He's got Wallace in the backfield, fakes that handoff, steps back, and he throws another deep ball down the right side, and it's just a little bit overthrown. And he was looking for Thomas Williams down on that side. Excuse me, that might have been Wallace instead. Kind of hard to see that number as far away. I think it was Wallace.
That's a go route by Tri-Valley, so that's something we haven't seen much of. We've seen them mostly throw the ball inside, and they're going to get right back to it here.
All right, that was Trey Goins-Chandler he was trying to hook up with there down that sideline. That's the first ball that really hasn't been right on the money that he's thrown deep. A little bit too far out of bounds for him. 1:29 to go until halftime. Tri-Valley trying to get on the board again. Lyle drops back to the middle. He's a little bit pressured, but steps up in the pocket, fires it out to his right, and that's caught by Goins Chandler. Makes a move and gets down across the 25-yard line, picks up that WB Green Insurance first down, marked at the 24-yard line. Tri-Valley still on the move.
You know, Tri-Valley, I mean, Philo is obviously a competitive team. We'll get to it here in just a second, but okay, we got a chance. The point is that just three-man rush for Philo, so Lyle, tons of time.
Durst on the handoff, gets through the left side. He's going to pick up some yards, and there's a flag that gets thrown, and that's back in that holding area, and I believe that's what it's going to be, and that's a penalty that Tri-Valley coach is not going to be happy with. It's behind the play. It's already passed, and it's a holding back that trails everything. That's one that just really frustrates you as a coach.
Yeah, no question. You got it going, and you make a silly mistake, a mental error with the hold.
A minute 2 to go until halftime. Tri-Valley still has 2 timeouts as they now have first down all the way back on the Electric's 35-yard line.
That's their third penalty for 27 yards here in the first half.
Lyle in that gun. Looks over the clock. Is now back on the move, down to 55 seconds. Lyle has Durst right up on his hip, right in the middle of the pocket, fires deep again. He's looking for Holmes, and it's just overthrown a little bit. That was Sensible out there this time. Look for multiple receivers. None of them are afraid to go deep on that pattern, and that time it was Sensible who's been his go-to guy all season and just couldn't connect with him.
And, nice job by Philo. Two-man safety that time, so plenty of help over the top, and really good defensive coverage that time by the Electrics. Give them credit for this one.
All right, second down and 20 yards to go. Philo trying to get a stop here before half. A nice little delayed handoff, and that's to Durst, and he almost breaks a tackle, but he does get it up to the Electric's 29-yard line. A nice pickup, but that's going to force a timeout here for Tri-Valley. That's going to be their second timeout. They've got one left here. 35 ticks to go until halftime, and they lead this one 21-0.
Yeah, not a chance for the old field goal try that we keep looking for, because that would be about a 56-yarder, and I don't think Mr. Dinan's quite ready for that one. So no doubt, 2-down territory. If they get it down close, they need the 25-yard, 15-yard line. If they get it to the 20, Dave, what do you think?
It's something they might give a shot. I've seen it last week. The game that I did, the kicker made the difference in the football game. Cambridge kicked 5 extra points. Union Local only kicked 1 and then had to go for 2 the rest of the time because they missed the second one. So a kicking game is such a huge part of these games, and it seems like the kicking games of all these schools have really improved over the years. A lot of that has to do, the young man from Cambridge, the Parsons kid, he's a soccer player. And he can really kick it. They're not afraid to kick 40-plus field goals with him. I don't know if Tri-Valley has that kind of leg on the team this year or not, but as you said, this could be one thing that if they pick up enough yards, they might give that a go here late in the first half. Wow, that snap, looking down the field, he steps up in the pocket. He's got a man, and that's Goins Chandler who caught it and then dropped it, and that's going to be incomplete. He had it right in his hands, and he turned to make a move, and he dropped the football.
And not to belabor the point, but where he caught it was about 2 or 3 yards short of the sticks for the first down.
And he's thinking, I'm going to make that first down. And
Carter Dian's got, come on, coach.
Forgot to take the ball. So fourth down, but no doubt they're going for this one. Philo is going to back up a little bit on their coverage because they've got some cushion they can give here, as Tri-Valley needs about 15 here to pick up the first down on this fourth down play with 28 seconds. Steps up in the pocket. He's going to throw it deep. It's going to be in the end zone, and that's going to be incomplete. So Philo has done the job here. They've held and kept Tri-Valley off the scoreboard here with 22 seconds to go until halftime. Tri-Valley leading this one 21-0.
9 of 15, 179 yards for Lyle in the first half. But interesting about the last 2 plays for Tri-Valley, with a 3-man Philo rush, everybody else playing pass. The quarterback Lyle's had tons of opportunity to run the football. He has chosen not to, but it's wide open.
Yeah, he's had some running room, but he likes to throw that thing. And all quarterbacks, they'd rather throw it than run and get hit, I think. So Philo in what looks like you would call a victory formation, but this is going to be a kneel down, and they're going to get in the locker room and try to regroup. And that's going to bring us to the end of our first half here in this Muskingum Valley League Big School Division Tilt. Tri-Valley has led this one from the start. They lead 21-0 at halftime. We're going to pay some bills, and we'll be back. You're watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
Tonight's scoreboard brought to you by the Coshocton City Tire Pros. In the second quarter, John Glenn Riverview tied up at 7. Barnesville leading Monroe Central in the second quarter 32-0. Cambridge leading Warren Local in the second 14-0. Granville ahead of Zanesville, second quarter 23-0. River ahead of Shenandoah in the first quarter 19-6. West Muskingum beating Morgan, second quarter 14-0. New Lexington ahead of Meadowbrook in the second, 20-7. Tri-Valley leading Philo in the second quarter, 21-0. Sheridan leading Maysville, 14-7, second quarter. Ridgewood ahead of Indian Valley, 7-6 in the second. Coshocton ahead of Crooksville, 7-0. Caldwell leading Fort Fry in the second quarter, 7-0. And Buckeye Trail beating Strasburg Franklin in the second quarter, 23-6. And that is your Coshocton City Tire Pros scoreboard.
Season, how far can Darien Fair take them?
Let's go down to Division 3. Villa Angela St. Joe sits at 6-1, but just 13th there in Region 9. If you're them, just get in and then see what happens.
AVC Sports presents high school football. This game was brought to you by Doan Ford, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abel's, Valentine Insurance, Wayne's Garage Door, Papa John's Pizza, Galaxy's Pizza, 209 Tire, and Guernsey County Children's Services.
Yes, that was the team, Dale, we know. Division 4, let's go there next, and a team that you're very familiar with. I know your son plays for them. Glenville, 7-0, first in Region 14, and they are rolling.
Yeah, I was just joking with guys out here in the studio after I just finished the show. 7-0. I said, hey, it probably be in everyone's best interest that Glenville goes independent. Just get out of the Cleveland Senate League, allows some of those programs to rebuild themselves up. It allows Glenville to have, reschedule their own season matchups, as well as, just the competitive advantage that it would be able to, add to that program. Glenville's already beaten 2 Division III teams, and they also feature what I believe is 4 of the best players in Northeast Ohio, starting with Arville Reese. He's going to Ohio State commit, Buckeye commit. He's a senior this year. He's going to be going down to Ohio State, and then you got the junior class, which is my favorite class, and watching these young men since they were 6, 7, 8 years old. And that features Bryce West, number 1 corner in class 2024 as far as state of Ohio, and Deshaunte Jones, a running back who's probably the second best running back behind Hoban's Lamar Sperling. And then finally, my son who, plays over at Cleveland Glenville, Demarion Witten. He's what they call Mr. Can Do It All. They seem to be in position to do some damage in the postseason.
Dale Davison, we appreciate you hopping on, talking some Cleveland area high school football with us this evening, okay?
Yes, thank you.
And we'll be right back on the Ohio News Network.
Bex recognizes this week's player with heart. Aiden Harbage from Global Impact STEM Academy, for his commitment and passion on the field and within the farming community.
I've been playing baseball since I was in Little League T-ball. Something about it, being able to go 3 for 10 and still be considered successful, kind of like farming and how there's ups and downs, and it's really just all about how you look at it.
Yes, Aiden has seen plenty of ups and downs in baseball and in farming, even at his own farm.
I myself have recently started the past 2 years. I farm my own 14 acres that I cash rent. So I kind of do that. I'm the farm owner. I have all the responsibilities of one, paying the rent, such as checking. I plant it, help around the farm a lot. And from there, it's just kind of, I've grown for the love of it.
His years in FFA will help in his future where he plans to attend Iowa State, Texas A&M, or Mississippi State for animal science or ranch management.
At Beck's, we are and will remain farmers at heart.
From the Ohio News Network, this is the Ohio Education Association Tonight in High School Football. Named Best Sports Program in the country by the National Association of State Radio Networks. Tonight in High School Football is presented by Beck's Hybrids and by Ohio for Responsible Gambling. Now here's your host, Skip Mossick.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tonight in High School Football's halftime reports, where this evening we'll chat a little Cleveland high school football with our buddy Dale Davison from our Cleveland affiliate. Dale will join us next on the Ohio News Network.
Every farmer has their reason for why they do what they do. For Beck's, it's faith, family, and farming. Since 1937, the Beck family and family of employees have been committed to honoring God and helping farmers succeed. Farming is full of extremes, and we face the challenges with hard work and steadfast determination, delivering quality line of products backed by legendary customer service. We look forward to standing by your side, supporting you as you live out the life you were meant to live. Beck's, when it comes to farming, we believe in something more.
I'm Scott Demaro, president of the Ohio Education Association, and on behalf of the OEA's 120,000 members, we're proud to bring you tonight's game. OEA members teach in Ohio's public schools and universities. We drive your kids' buses and serve them lunch. We're school nurses, custodians, librarians, and more. And we coach your kids on the field. We believe in great public schools for every student, and we believe our team is always stronger when we stand together, just as we have for 175 years.
I was sitting in my car, and it wouldn't start. I lifted the hood, and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. Then on the radio, I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door, and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of the guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there. How can you select from insurance companies offering you lizards or ducks? When it comes to protection for your home and auto, you want a company that provides quality insurance products and personalized, fair, friendly claims service. WB Green Insurance represents Westfield Insurance. Their reputation is based on sharing knowledge and building trust. Westfield has been around the neighborhood over 150 years. WB Green Insurance welcomes the opportunity to quote your home, car, and business insurance. Don't be fooled by lizards and ducks. Call 439-1329.
Making a boast that Philo's going to come back because this is a superior team. Let's face it. But Tri-Valley, what's impressive about them is they're not worried about blowing you out. They're not worried about running up the score. I think they're more concerned about, okay, what do we have to do fundamentally to stay on the target of what we're trying to accomplish. And, you know, for my mind, in this first half, Dave, I think they've done an outstanding job of staying right where they're supposed to be.
I've been really impressed with the way that Max Lyle has handled himself in the pocket. They've been doing a good job giving him a nice pocket, but if it has broken down, he's been able to step up in the pocket. He's still looking downfield, and that's really hard for a young quarterback because they like to get their eyes down and just run. He's kept his head up. He's still trying to throw the football. As you pointed out, you know, instead of running, he's still looking to throw the football.
Yeah, think C.J. Stroud for a second. But one of the things he's got going for him, and this is not a knock on Philo, is the Electrics had to play the pass the entire first half. So it's only been a three-man rush for Philo, They unfortunately weren't able to make any adjustments. But what that meant was it was a clean pocket every time for Lyle. And when you've got all kinds of time to throw and you've got really good receivers, I don't care if you've got 12 guys back there, those guys are going to find a way to get open, especially at the high school level. And Lyle has done a great job of working within himself and the line, 5-on-3 blocking-wise. It's a good combination. So Philo, we'll talk about adjustments later, but Philo may have to try and put more pressure on Lyle.
Our halftime report tonight is brought to you by Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, and obviously we appreciate them sponsoring our halftime show, and also to all of our fine sponsors here tonight, which include Doan Ford, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abels Incorporated, Valentine Insurance, AMG Vanadium, White Pillars Christmas Store, and Greg's Motor Sales. And a recap of our scoring here. In the first quarter, Tri-Valley got on the board first with a 34-yard touchdown pass to Ashton Sensabaugh from Max Lyle, and with the extra point from Carter Dyna, that made it 7-0 Tri-Valley. With just 55 seconds left in that first quarter, Tri-Valley struck again, this time a 5-yard pass to Thomas Williams again from Max Lyle. Now he's got 21 touchdown passes on the season, and that with that BAT again from Dyna, that made it 14-0. In the second quarter, Tri-Valley scored again with 5:03 left until halftime. This time, Hansel Holmes in the shotgun formation, a 1-yard Hansel Holmes run, and that extra point was again good, and that made it 21-0, and that's where the score stands right now. Tri-Valley leading this one 21-0 here at homecoming at Philo High School. And Howard, I believe you have some statistics you can share with us here, thanks to our crack statistician, also known as your wife, who's done a fantastic job updating us here tonight. So we'll let you relay her stats for us.
Let's go with Philo in the first half. 50 yards rushing, as one could expect, with no score on the board for Talon Preston, the quarterback, the dual threat quarterback. He had 24 of those yards for the Electrics. He was 1-of-1 passing, was Preston, to Andrew Phillips. So just 57 yards of offense for Philo in the first half. They were penalized twice for 10 yards. They were also sacked one time. For Tri-Valley, big numbers rushing, 103 yards on the ground for the Scotties in the first half. Wallace with 48, Durst with 37. Those guys are both tough to stop. And Max Lyle, as we've talked about the entire first half, was 9 of 15, including the last 4 incomplete. So at one point he had outstanding numbers, but he was 9 of 15 for 179 yards and the 2 TD strikes. Sensabaugh caught 4 passes for 94 yards. Williams caught 2 passes for 9 yards and a TD along with Sensabaugh's TD. And, well, that tells you right there what you need to know, Dave. The numbers speak for themselves, that not only are you putting points on the board, but you have to really praise Tri-Valley's defense.
And as you pointed out, Tri-Valley has pretty much handled things, but they really haven't put this game away yet, as it is 21-0, so it's certainly doable. But boy, Philo's going to have to do a complete 360 in this game to get back in it and try to get even within a score or two here to start this thing off, and they will get that second half kickoff with an opportunity to get on the board.
And I think for Philo, you have a decision to make at halftime, and that is, do we want to win the game? Yes, we want to win the game. How do we win the game? Can we do something we're not accustomed to doing? No, any good coach will tell you it doesn't work that way. You can't make up stuff in the locker room and come out and expect to execute it when you haven't practiced it. So for Philo, it comes down to, okay, how do we get back in? Let's go back to the game plan. We're only down 3 scores. If we can go big right away, we've got a chance. So, for Philo, your hands are up against the wall that you're facing a great defensive team. Secondly, for Philo is when you look at them defensively, they've stayed in the 3-man front almost exclusively in the first half. I don't think I've seen another defensive formation. Do they dare think about, okay, let's try and do something. I think they have other alignments. I'm sure they do.
Sure.
But let's try to put some pressure maybe on Lyle and see if that can't stuff Tri-Valley a little bit at the line of scrimmage, because Tri-Valley's had it their own way both offensively and defensively.
Offensively, I've been really impressed with that two-headed monster in the backfield has been running the football. Drake Durst, he's been out on injury for a couple weeks. He has been back in the lineup and looks just as good as new as he's run the football very effectively. Also, Jaden Wallace been in the backfield. He just has that extra burst. He can really turn on the jets, and when he gets some space, he's dangerous and can take it to the house at any minute. And then also, they brought in Hansel Holmes in a goal line situation, and he's more of that straight ahead, going to get those tough yards for you. So again, they've got some weapons in the backfield to go along with, obviously Lyle has thrown the ball very well tonight. He's only been really off target maybe once or twice, so he's thrown it very well. Just really impressed with what they do offensively. And again, they just make it tough on you because they spread you out. They've got all those weapons out on the perimeter, and then they've got, some good running backs too, so it's really tough to defend. Philo's going to have to come up with something different here for the second half.
Well, for Tri-Valley, I think the Holmes Wildcat touchdown was just show. I think that's for somebody down the road who's scouting this team. Okay, that's another one we better look at when we get the film exchange. Let's take a look at that formation in that particular situation. For Tri-Valley at the half, when you're up 21 to nothing, against a decent team, is you don't want to be complacent. You don't want to let down. You want to look good at least through three quarters, and then maybe, depending on the score, start to substitute a little bit in the fourth quarter. So for Tri-Valley, I think this third quarter is going to be about the mental approach of things. How do we want to handle this kind of success? As you mentioned, Dave, they're not blowing Philo out, where we've got a running clock or anything. It's still manageable. So for Tri-Valley, you almost think it's kind of a mad scientist approach that, okay, we can do what we want, but we better be careful that this experiment may not pay dividends. So I really like how the Tri-Valley coaches go about running the offensive and defensive game plans. Very, very good.
Back here again in our halftime sponsor, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, of our halftime show. I'm Dave Hilliard, again, Howard Twiggs providing our color analysis tonight. We have a fine crew here that's running the video part of our show. Cam Summers leading his group of students that he is teaching, and that includes Paige Meadows, Blake Cryer, and Caleb Abraham, and we really appreciate Brandon Hickman back at the station running the show on the radio end of everything, and also helping us make sure that we get all of our spots in, and we're staying on time here tonight. And speaking of time, this game went really quick in the first half. Clock moved. It didn't stop very much. And again, I've said that, so now it's going to mean the second half's going to drag on forever.
Don't say that.
I will give a couple of scoreboard updates here on White Pillars Christmas House. They provide our scoreboard updates all night long. The last score that I had, Cambridge was leading Warren Local early, 7-0. Barnesville was ahead of Monroe Central 6-0, and Caldwell was up on Fort Fry 7-0 in that big game. John Glenn and Riverview were tied at 7 early in that one as well. So all those games taking place, 3 of those on our family of stations at AVC. John Glenn, Riverview there. Another one, I think that's up at Riverview tonight. Speaking of John Glenn, both of these teams that play tonight have John Glenn left on the schedule. Tri-Valley will be there in week 10, and then Philo plays John Glenn next week and then at Maysville. And as it stands, those are 2 games that they're going to have to win to have, as I pointed out earlier, according to some websites, a 35% chance of making the playoffs. And that's one, if Philo ends up being the 16th team and does make it in, look who the number one's probably going to be.
At Tri-Valley?
This same Tri-Valley team that they would play probably on the road, which you just played them, and then you're going to turn around and play them maybe in the playoffs. So that's a distinct possibility that's out there.
Yeah,
still got a long way to go, a couple games left, but it could possibly happen.
You hope for rain, wind, some neutralizing issues that might balance it out. But again, as you mentioned, Dave, that's down the road. For Tri-Valley, I think coming back to what they need to do in the second half is take care of business. I'm sure that's what the coaches have said. Let's just go out and stay ahead of the chains, work on our game, work on the mental approach of things, and hope that we can stay at the level we've played at. For Philo, I think again you've had to come back with some answers here at halftime. So it'll be curious to me to see what they do, especially defensively. Can they allow Lyle to just completely dominate from the passing game, or do they put some pressure on? At the same time, for Tri-Valley, do you want to work on the running game? Do you really even need to pass in the second half? You've got a safe lead. So Philo, by the way, is not yet out of the locker room. So you've been in that situation. I think it tells me is that we've still got some things that we're working on here to start the second half.
Tonight's halftime report is brought to you by patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, and I'll put a little pressure on you here, Howard. So far, if we were going to pick the play of the game, which we will have our West 40 Auto Sales play of the game, what would you look at right now as our play of the game?
And again, this is just preliminary because we have a whole half.
Exactly.
I think the Wildcat run by Hansel Holmes, I think from 5 yards out late in the second quarter, it was a brand new formation for Tri-Valley, and I think it's something that Philo wasn't really expecting or prepared for, and he scored on the touchdown. I really like that. And also thinking about the drive of the game.
Exactly.
And, again, it's early. It's only halftime, but I think the very first drive of the game, the actual drive of the game with the touchdown pass from Lyle to Sensabaugh 34 yards, that says it all. I mean, that made it 7-0, and Tri-Valley hasn't needed to worry about anything else.
I could also make an argument for that 95-yard touchdown drive that Tri-Valley put together after they made the defensive stand down there on their own 5-yard line. Then they turned the field around, march down, and get that touchdown, a 95-yard drive. You don't see that many of that length very often, and they were able to do that.
Yeah, that fourth down stop by Tri-Valley, Philo tried to punch it in down the middle of the field. It just didn't go. By the way, we also have the power lineman of the game that we're thinking about. And I'll tell you what, very impressive Tri-Valley lines, both offensively and defensively. I'm going to go in that direction again. It's early, but boy, there are several guys on both of those sides of the ball for Tri-Valley on the line. I really like the job that Mason Prouty did.
Exactly. I was going to say that one myself.
I like the job that Emery Sparks has done. A couple of others that we'll try to get a number on them in the second half. But the Power Lineman Award coming up after the game is still up in doubt. Is there some Tri-Valley guys waiting to see what happens? And we also do have the player of the game, and we'll wait on that one.
All righty. We take 1 minute break here in our halftime show, again presented to you by our halftime report again by patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance. You are watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
AVC Sports presents high school football. This game was brought to you by Doan Ford, patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abel's, Valentine Insurance, Wayne's Garage Door, Papa John's Pizza, Galaxy's Pizza, 209 Tire, and Guernsey County Children's Services.
Duncan Falls getting ready to start this third quarter of this Muskingum Valley League big school football game as Tri-Valley leads this one 21-0 in a game they have pretty much dominated from the start, and they're going to kick the ball off in the second half. Our John Valentine Insurance sponsored kickoff. Tri-Valley will be kicking the ball to Philo to start this second half, and again, the Philo Electrics need an answer, and they need an answer here early in this one because they need a score to get back in this football game.
Well, it's going to start with this kickoff. They'll be going left to right along your radio dial we're the Electrics, and they have the white pants, white helmets, and the camo jerseys that they broke out just for us tonight so that we can identify their numbers.
I know, and they had some number switches, which made it even tougher, besides the visual part that's tough on those camouflage jerseys. So they switched some numbers on us, so we had to do some quick changing there right before the kickoff. So Tri-Valley getting ready to kick this one to start the second half. Dynan is going to put his foot into it at the 40-yard line, and this third quarter is now underway. All the way down on the line drive, collected at the 15-yard line, up across the 25. A little bit of space out to the 39-yard line. Nice return there. And I'm looking to see who that was. Was that Drew Lincecum on that return?
Seth Henning, a 26-yard kickoff return.
Again, I was thinking it was 14, but you're right. You had that one right on the money, and Philo, a decent return there. Some good field position to start this very important first possession of the third quarter now as Philo takes over on their 38-yard line. And still Talon Preston in the backfield running the show in that pistol formation. Gets that snap, and he's going to hand it off. And now Frew, the disruptive force that he has been all his entire career for Tri-Valley. A little misstep on the handoff. I think, was he trying to pull it and then try to run with it? But boy, there was some confusion, it looked like. And there was Frew again, and he is a disruptor, and he had a hold of him, and that was a big loss.
Yeah, our old buddy Greg Meadows from Tri-Valley pointed out at halftime that he is a load. And we have an injured player from Philo, but we were talking about that power alignment of the game, and right now, Mr. Frew, with the job he's done, is certainly in the lead.
Well, you know what most people don't realize, you look at him, and he looks like he's a head taller than anybody on the football field. He is also a very good basketball player, athletic. I've seen him dunk the basketball in a game. So, you know, as a defensive end, when you've got that kind of size and you've got that kind of athletic ability, you are disruptive, and he is very disruptive in that position. And again, he got a hold of the ball carrier, and it was over with there. And that's a big 7-yard loss for the Electrics in a drive that they really need to put together something positive, and they're already in a tough down and distance at second and about 16 here.
That's the second sack of the night for Tri-Valley, and looks like one of the linemen coming off for Philo. Actually, it might be the tight end right for Philo.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Howard. So a little substitution here on offense for Philo. Again, still in that shotgun formation. Got a man in motion, fakes it to him under pressure. They're going to get drugged down in the backfield. Another big loss. And this time it wasn't, I saw Frew back there being disruptive, but again, that was a different defensive lineman, and he made a really nice play. Got his hold.
Yeah, Jaleel Brown on the sack. So what happened at halftime is, when we talked about adjustments, I think Philo made the decision, okay, we're going to come out and try to score through the air, try to make the big play. And I think Tri-Valley had a guess to make is, okay, what are they going to do? All right, we're going to take a shot and think that they're going to pass the football. Well, guess what? Tri-Valley has guessed right 2 plays in a row.
And unless they can convert a 3rd and 28, they're going to have to give the ball back to Tri-Valley, who again has established some momentum here. And Preston corralled that high snap, and he gets through the middle of the line, and he's got a nice pickup, but obviously not enough yardage there. A good run from Preston. It was a positive play, but when you're at 3rd and 16 and you can only pick up about, I think it's going to bring up a 4th and 9, so we got about 7 yards there. But again, they're going to have to punt, and that is not the start that they wanted in the second half.
No, again, they made the decision to try and air it out, and it cost them on the first 2 plays.
All right, Savage going to kick it away, and that's kind of off the side of his foot, and that's going to hit on about the 45-yard line and bounce out of bounds. So again, Tri-Valley going to set up shop with great field position on the around 42-yard line. 1st and 10 here with 10:16 to go in the third quarter, and Tri-Valley about to start their first possession of the second half.
Well, just a 23-yard punt for Philo. Now, the interesting decision for Tri-Valley is, okay, what do you want to do? It looks like they're going to stay formation-wise, the 4 wide and the pistol formation with Durst.
They've been consistent with that all night long. Trips formation, trips receiver to the right or left. Usually there's 3 receivers to the open side of the field to give them a little more space. Lyle still in the shotgun. Durst with him in the backfield. Snap, fakes the handoff, fires it out to the right to Williams. He catches it and gets upfield across midfield. Going to pick up about 9 yards as he's advanced that ball all the way down to the 49-yard line of the Electrics, and that's going to bring up a short 2nd and 1 here. And again, tempo from the Scotties.
A tunnel screen that time for Williams, something Tri-Valley, I think, wants to work on for the future.
All right, Lyle and his compatriots look over to the sideline. 2nd and 1. This is a good down and distance to maybe take a shot. Lyle, I'm sure, would love to. He's had some really nice success throwing the football tonight. He's going to hand it off, though, and that's Durst. Durst, tough yardage, and he burrows ahead to pick up a couple of yards, and that's going to be a first down. And they're motioning those chains forward, so that's a WB Green Insurance first down for the Scotties. Their first of the second half. So the clock rolls with 9:32 to go in the third quarter.
Cade Searles in on the tackle that time for Philo. And Tri-Valley, to their credit, they ran right into the teeth of the Philo defense along the defensive front. So getting the first down is quite an accomplishment.
Lyle with the snap, drops back, heavy pressure, but he lets it fly. He's got a man down the sideline. Nice adjustment, and that's even going to be a pass interference on the defense. What a nice adjustment there by the receiver as he comes back, cuts underneath the defender, and that was Jaden Walker, I believe, on the catch. Nice adjustment made, but there's a penalty marker down, and that's going to be against Philo. It's got to be.
It's a 38-yard pass reception, and the defender for Philo never turned around, never saw the ball, was face guarding, and the official, despite the circumstance, had to throw the flag on that one. It was almost like, guys, I have to do this.
Another WB Green Insurance first down. Tri-Valley all the way down on the 10-yard line here, and that's going to be 1st and goal. I don't think they can pick up that first down before they get a touchdown. So, yep, it's 1st and goal. Lyle looking over at the sideline, and I think Philo's going to try to bring some pressure. That's what they did on that last completion, but they just couldn't get home soon enough. Lyle going to hand that ball off. Durst gets to the right side, crosses down into the 5-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds. A 5-yard pickup there for Durst, and that's going to be 2nd and goal from the 5 for the Scotties.
Yeah, one of the things I think Tri-Valley must have seen in films is Philo, the linebacker, the inside linebacker, trying to catch one of those speedy running backs on the perimeter. And Tri-Valley's done a nice job of getting that guy isolated out there for good yardage.
Tri-Valley now, 2nd and goal, looking to score and really take control of this football game. 8:50 to go here in the third quarter. Everybody looking over at the sideline again to get that signal. Durst up on Lyle's hip. Not even a fake. He guns it, and he's got that slant pattern, and it is caught in the end zone for a touchdown, and that was Jaden Walker again on that catch. He made the long catch, and he makes the touchdown catch. That's a 5-yard TD pass from Max Lyle to Jaden Walker, and that brings the Scotties up to 27 now as they lead this one 27-0, pending this extra point from Dinan. Kick is down. Hold is down, kick is up, and it is good. And that's going to make the score 28 for Tri-Valley, 0 for Philo. We'll be back in a minute. You're watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
Roosevelt Road in Caldwell, Ohio. Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance Company is a mutual insurance company established in 1896 for the purpose of providing insurance coverage to rural Ohio. They offer a product to meet your insurance needs, whether it is for a farm, rental dwelling, home in town, secondary or seasonal dwelling, churches, or mobile home. They partner with Grinnell Mutual Insurance Company to offer liability coverage to package with their patrons Buckeye Mutual policy. Call today at 638-3604 and follow them on Facebook at Patrons Buckeye.
Twin Falls, where Tri-Valley has struck quickly here in the third quarter to push their lead now to 28-0 with 8:47 to play in the third quarter. One possession, one touchdown here in the third quarter, and that's just what the doctor ordered for Tri-Valley. I'm sure their coaches were really adamant in the locker room that we needed to keep control of the football game, and they've done that here early in the second half.
Took care of business, guessed right what Philo was going to do on the opening drive of the third quarter, was airing it out. Tri-Valley put great pressure on Philo. Philo will have another decision to make.
And that ball on the kickoff, it goes out of bounds. A little bit of maybe a knuckleball, shank, hook, something over there. I'm going to use some golf terminology.
Yeah, like one of your swings, I think.
That ball out of bounds, and that's going to bring it all the way out to the 35-yard line. So going to set up shop 1st and 10 on their own 35, and that's decent field position for Philo to start this one here for their second possession of the second half.
You know, and that may change a little bit of the Philo thinking is, okay, we've got pretty good field position. Let's come back to the run and see what we can do.
And they got to get something positive going here in this second half. Preston going to hand it off this time. Ball carrier met right at the line of scrimmage. It powers forward. Going to pick up about 4 to 5 yards. Nice job there by a little bit of a surge there. And that was a nice pickup there as they surged ahead and got some positive yardage on that play. And that's going to be like Kate Searles was the runner there.
So nice job, Tri-Valley on the interior of making that stop also.
2nd now and 5 for the Electrics, trailing 28-0, just over 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Preston gets that snap. He's going to fake it. He gets hit, and that ball, that's not a backwards pass. That's an incomplete pass. And boy, Preston was trying to get rid of it, and he got drilled. Thankfully, it wasn't a backward pass, and it was just an incomplete pass there for the Electrics.
That was Hansel Holmes on the linebacker blitz for Tri-Valley, and I'll tell you what, he hit him so hard that if this were the NFL, there'd be a late hit on the quarterback.
Yeah, if any hit on the quarterback is a penalty in the NFL, it seems like these days.
Yeah, nice job by Holmes, and good job of Preston of bouncing back up.
Big third down they need to pick up here. Preston the snap, he fires it out on the wing, and it is through the receiver of the hands. Griffin Wells couldn't bring that one in, and that's going to bring up 4th and 5. And this is one where Philo's probably thinking about, we might as well just go for it. We're down 28-0. And the offense is still on the field. I don't think they're going to they are going to bring the punt squad on here.
Yeah, you know, that's good coaching. You're getting beat 28-0, but, I think the coaches are wise and are saying, okay, let's not throw the game completely away. Let's try to change field position and punt it away.
All right, ball kicked from about the 31-yard line, and that's going to be an end-over-end that Thomas Williams is going to pick up on 20, getting to the right side. He's got the edge. He gets up to the 35, all the way out to the 37-yard line. Nice return there from Thomas Williams, and that time he didn't let that kick get past him. He made that stop on the football like an infielder would, and that made a nice return.
20-yard return, and I'm sure the coaches mentioned that at halftime in probably a nice way, like, hey, now when the ball's bouncing your way, you got to field it, or something like that.
All right, Lyle back in that shotgun. Tri-Valley, still lots of receivers out on the field as they like to throw that football. And we might see a little bit more of the ground game now that they've got a 28-0 lead, and they've got Jaden Wallace in the backfield again, and he's shown a lot of that quick burst tonight. He's up on Lyle's hip, hands it to him, he gets to the right side, and there's that burst, but I think this one's going to come back after a 10-yard pickup because that flag was thrown in that nice holding area, and I see that referee right in the middle of the field saying it is a hold, so that play is going to come back, and that's going to bring up a 2nd and long here for Tri-Valley.
I think that might have been a new play for Tri-Valley. I hadn't seen that formation. They had Wallace in the pistol, and as they've done the whole game, they switch him to the hip of the quarterback Lyle. But that time they ran a counter play with him. So I think maybe something that they've worked on that they tried there.
All right, Lyle in the shotgun. He's still got Wallace back there. He might give Wallace another shot because, boy, he's just got that burst.
Fast.
And he really made a nice pickup there. That was almost going to be a first down, but holding penalty brings it back. 7:45 to go and the clock moving. Same formation. This time Lyle going to throw it. He guns it out, and he's got Jaden Walker for about 10 yards. And they're going to mark it up by the original line of scrimmage, so they got that penalty yardage back. A nice throw and catch there, a good pattern from Walker. Got it to where only his receiver was going to catch it. Brings up a 2nd and 10 for Tri-Valley.
You know, Lyles, we mentioned, is just a sophomore. Jaden Wallace is just a sophomore.
Young kids out there in the skill positions, you've got to be happy seeing these kids perform that well in a varsity football game at a young age.
Not as happy as the coaches.
Exactly. Lyle going to get this snap again. This time, handoff Wallace. He's got that burst again. He's got the right side. He's got 10, 15, 20, 15 yards at least. He's going to get pushed out of bounds. Looks like on the Philo 46-yard line, about a 14-yard pickup. And that's another WB Green Insurance first down for the Scotties as they keep control of the football and this football game. Wallace in the backfield. They get it out to him on the left side, but nice defensive penetration. One of the first times we've seen Philo get in the backfield. Savage shooting through there and making a tackle for a loss. Going to bring up 2nd and 14 for the Scotties.
Also, Ty Moorhead, nice job defensively for Philo.
Quickly to the line of scrimmage, but they look over to that sideline, trying to get the play in, and some new faces out there as Tri-Valley's got a different receiver in the game. They've got Tanner Newton out there as a receiver. Handoff this time to Wallace. He's kind of bottled up in the middle. He fights ahead for maybe a yard, and that's going to bring up 3rd and about 13. A must stop here for the Electrics.
Yeah, he ran into Mason Prouty and was unable to get his feet going. So another good job defensively by Philo.
Right, 3rd and 13, I really don't think has phased Tri-Valley much here in the last few weeks. They've had a lot of success throwing the football, and I look for Lyle to try to make something happen here with his arm again. Philo, 3-down lineman. Lyle drops back, surveys the field. He's under pressure, and they almost got him down, but he gets loose. He's out across the 50, gets out of bounds at about the 43-yard line, and he's going to be short of that first down. And again, their stands are really close to the sideline. Lyle almost brought down into the wall over here. Not much room on that sideline.
Could have been a penalty, but the official said, okay. He was hit still in the field of play, so knocked out of bounds, as Dave mentioned. So I think Tri-Valley will have their first punt of the game.
Hey, they do have a punter. And it's Hansel Holmes. He's back there in punt formation. Their first punt of the night, as Howard has pointed out, and Hansel Holmes going to put his foot into it at about the 46-yard line. A high end-over-end kick, and it has that backspin on it like I hit on my wedges all the time. Spins back to the 25-yard line. Tri-Valley, a decent punt there, no return, and Tri-Valley going to set up their defense against Philo's offense on about the 25-yard line of Philo.
I think that was all about we need to work on our punting game. I really think Tri-Valley, the way things are going, I think that 4th and 8 was manageable. Yeah. I think they said, hey, we need to work on some other things. Not that they would have gotten it, but they would have been in a good position to get it.
And as I've said, I've seen Cam West roll the dice a lot as a head coach, and he's not afraid to go for it on 4th down just about anywhere on the field. So Philo trailing 28-0 with 6:02 to play in the third quarter. Preston in the shotgun. He fakes the handoff and throws it out to his right. He's got the receiver on the 20-yard line. He turns upfield. He gets knocked out of bounds on the 34-yard line. And that was Cade Searles. He gets knocked out of bounds at about the 34. It's a couple yards short of that first down, but a nice first down gain for the Electrics.
Cam Carnes on the coverage that time for Tri-Valley. Searles is their leading receiver. That's just his first catch of the night. So Tri-Valley's done a good job of bottling him up tonight. 2 of 4 passing for 16 yards for Talon Preston here in this football game. And I think we're going to get maybe an injured player.
It's not a player. It's either a coach or some sideline personnel for Philo, as that play got knocked out of bounds right under the Philo bench. And as we've said here, there's not much room between that sideline and the stands where there's a wall.
Yeah, and it's a concrete wall. Let's add that. And you know, that's just the way it is. But as you all know, and most people who follow football, sometimes those plays are coming at you so fast you don't have time to react.
Exactly.
And my guess is from the sideline to that actual wall where the stands begin, at 10 feet maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's not very much room there. And of course, if you're standing there, you really don't have too much time, too much space to move in, nor do you have that much time. So I could see myself trying to bail out of there and not getting out of the way as fast as you need to either. So
yeah, it was a Tri-Valley player.
It was a Tri-Valley player.
Jaleel Brown. It looks like he's going to be okay. He'll have to come off the field for a minimum of one play. So nice job by the Philo guys to give him a little bit of room, give him a little bit of respect as he was down.
And he's jogging off the field, so don't want to make any injury assessments, but he looks like he's getting off the field with no major injury of any kind, so that's a good sign. And now Philo's 2nd and 1. Preston fades back, and he drops it off to Lincecum. Lincecum's got it across the 35, across the 40-yard line, all the way up to the 44-yard line. And that's going to be a first down for Philo at WB Green Insurance, first down. And they really needed that one to try to get some offensive consistency and get a drive going here early in this third quarter.
Yeah, Drew Lincecum, 10-yard reception. That's the longest pass play of the night. 3 passes completed by Preston.
1st and 10 now for the Electrics on their own 43-yard line. Preston back in the shotgun. He's got it, and it's going to be a straight-ahead run from Preston, and that's going nowhere because he tried to run right to Aaron Frew, and Aaron Frew got his big paws on him and dragged him to the ground right at the 45. So a positive gain, but not much there for Preston. And again, you got to get a couple of bodies on Frew to get him out of the way, and they just didn't get it done on that play.
Aaron Frew, they say 6'5", 195, a senior.
And he is a 6'5" lean. I mean, that's a lean 6'5", and that's why we said he's got some ups on the basketball court, and he can really create some havoc there, that defensive end position. They're going to reset the play clock. And it is now Preston, still back in that shotgun. Got 4 receivers out there this time. And that's not going to be something that Tri-Valley has not seen. This is something they work against in practice themselves. Preston, he's got that snap, drops back, and he's going to throw that quick pass to Lincecum again. He's got it at the 45, to the 50, down to the 45-yard line of Tri-Valley, and that's going to be a first down for the Electrics. A WB Green Insurance first down by the Electrics, marked at the Tri-Valley 45-yard line, and they've got a little something going now on that little swing pass to Lincecum.
Tanner Newton and Hansel Holmes on the tackle that time for Tri-Valley, but they're able to get Lincecum isolated on the boundary, and Tri-Valley a little slow to get over there and check him. So and a couple of nice plays by the Electrics on this drive.
That rush is coming, but he finds that little swing pass, and that's been a nice play here for the Electrics in the third quarter. Again, Preston in the gun. Hands it to Lincecum this time, and he cuts back on that left side, and he's got a nice gain. He's going to pick up about 10 yards and get that first down all the way down at the 35-yard line, inside the 35-yard line of Tri-Valley, and that's another WB Green Insurance first down for the Electrics as they're on the move with 4:11 to go here in the third quarter.
Jaden Walker on the stop after a 10-yard carry. So Philo really showing some good balance here on this drive in the third quarter.
First down, 34-yard line of Tri-Valley. Philo needing a score to just maintain some sort of distance in this game. Flipped out to Searles. Searles going to make a stiff arm, but he can't get rid of that defender who drags him down at about the 30-yard line. Still a positive pickup on first down there. Searles with a nice catch, turns it upfield, and picks up about 5 yards, it looks like, for the Electrics, and a 2nd and 5 coming up.
And I'm wondering if the Tri-Valley coaches are going to say something to the corners to come up and give a little bit more pressure to the guy coming out in the boundary area for Philo, and a little bit more press coverage for Tri-Valley perhaps coming.
Preston hands it off to Lincecum. He's trying to get that left side again, and he can't get it done this time. Ran out of room, and that's going to be a little bit of a 2-yard loss. That was successful, that little play there where they ran to the left, kind of a sweep. And this time, though, Lincecum didn't have any room, and he's dragged down behind the line of scrimmage for a 2-yard loss.
Newton and Holmes on the tackle for Tri-Valley. So what's been good for Philo on this drive? The little swing pass coming out of the backfield, and let's see if that's what they come back to.
I was just going to say 3rd and 7. We might be seeing that swing pass again to Lincecum.
And they're going to go 3 wide on the open side of the field.
Preston, fade, he drops back, and there is a quick pass out on the right flat, and it's caught, and he's going to get the ball up to about the 30-yard line, but doesn't get much farther with it. That was Case Fink on the catch, who's played a little quarterback for him this year, but wasn't able to get much yardage there, and that's going to bring up a 4th down and 6, only a yard pickup. 4th down now, and this is a must-have for the Electrics. They don't want to give the ball back to Tri-Valley when they're trailing 28-0.
Heavy rush that time by Tri-Valley as Mr. Frew came in unannounced. And nice job to get rid of the ball as Preston. So tough break for Philo, but now they've got it 4th and 6.
And again, Aaron Frew just a disruptive force on that defensive line. Philo, and the play clock was ready to run out, and they had to call a timeout, trying to make a decision what they wanted to do on this 4th down, and they're going to have that timeout. They had to take it here with 1:48 to play in the 3rd quarter. Tri-Valley leading this one and still maintaining some dominance in this one, 28-0.
Yeah, you know, it was 21-0 at the half. Despite Tri-Valley, most estimations, I would say, just dominating this game, it's still 28-0. I mean, I know that sounds like a lot, but it's not hammering Philo.
You know, and over the history of this, it's been, it's been some relatively close games. It hasn't been like Tri-Valley has just, they've had a lot of success, as we said, winning 16 in the last 18 against this team. But again, it's one of those where they've been able to stay in the football game, and they need a definite. They've got to score here. I mean, to have any shot in this one with just 1:48 left in the 3rd quarter.
And I think the coaches for Tri-Valley will have to be pleased that it's not 50-0 and the rest of the game is just a washout. I think they're probably happy that the guys really have to maintain some discipline and some mental abilities.
All right, here's this 4th down play. Preston fades back in a heavy pressure, and he's going to get knocked down in the backfield, and they're going to say the ball is down. Boy, Tri-Valley brought the house, and they brought a lot of pressure, and he was sacked in the backfield. Jake Slabodin again on that pressure from his linebacking spot came in and put Preston to the ground, and Tri-Valley's going to take over on their own. Looks like 37.5-yard line, or maybe the 38. So Tri-Valley was the defensive stop after Philo put some 1st downs together.
Well, not easy for Tri-Valley to not understand what the situation was. Passing down on 4th down.
They were bringing the house on that one. Slobodin came, he was in there, and Preston really didn't have a chance. Lyle now back in that shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Durst. Durst fighting across the right side. They got a hold of his jersey, and they're able to get him to the ground after a very short 1-yard pickup. So Durst picks up a yard there, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 9 for the Scotties.
Well, Philo still has a lot of fight in them, especially against the run. I think where the Electrics have been hurt tonight is the passing game.
They haven't got the rushing yards easily. Philo's really played the run very well. It's just the mix of run-pass has really given Philo some trouble, and that's, offensively, that balance, when you can do that, you're going to win a lot of football games. Lyle in the shotgun, trips to the left, got Durst in the backfield with him, drops back, makes a little out, and that's caught by Goins Chandler on about the 44-yard line. Tries to get away, but can't, and they bring him to the ground right at the 44-yard line. Going to bring up a 3rd and about 4 for the Scotties.
You want the good news or the bad news?
Oh, both.
All right. The good news is for Philo, they blitzed Lincecum, and he almost got to the quarterback, but the bad news is Lyle got it away and got a positive gain.
Lyle able to make a play there under pressure. Again, just good overall quarterback play, good decision-making here, especially from Lyle. He hasn't made a bad decision or a bad throw with the football tonight.
13 of 19 for Lyle.
Lyle, snap, fakes that handoff, and he's going to throw a little screen out there to Hansel Holmes. He's got it. He crosses the 50, 45, head down at the 40, and doesn't go down. And boy, Hansel Holmes delivered a blow as the ball carrier. And boy, that was a collision right at the 40-yard line. But that's a first down. Holmes making the most of that reception, that catch and run, and that might be the last play, and it is the last play of the third quarter. So we'll take a break and pay some bills here. You're watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports. Boy, that was a collision.
It's time.
In City Tire Pros. All these in the third quarter right now. Barnesville leading Monroe Central 35-0. Cambridge beating Warren Local in the third quarter 21-7. River ahead of Shenandoah 33-4.
AVC Sports presents high school football. This game was brought to you by Doan Ford, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abel's, Valentine Insurance, Wayne's Garage Door, Papa John's Pizza, Galaxy's Pizza, 209 Tire, and Guernsey County Children's Services.
TK Auto Service, east of New Concord and minutes from Cambridge on Route 40.
Hey, this is Ted with TK Auto Service. Give us a call at 826-4916. That's 826-4916. Make us your repair service for all your vehicle care.
Nugget Falls, the first play of the fourth quarter. Durst gets a handoff from Lyle, and he fights ahead for a tough couple of yards there. And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 8 here for Tri-Valley on the Philo 38-yard line. Straight ahead run. Managed to get a couple of yards there. Lyle in the backfield in that shotgun. First time they've really brought two running backs in the backfield with them all night long.
Bring in Tanner Newton.
So Newton is in the backfield along with Durst. Lyle going to hand it off to Newton on a counter play. He gets it through the left side, knifing through the line and picking up about 3. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and about 6 for Tri-Valley. We saw that counter a little bit earlier in the game. I think they ran it with Holmes back there. And speaking of Hansel Holmes, he comes back in the football game as a receiver. And he's going to leave Durst in the backfield here as a running back with Lyle. Tri-Valley looking to convert a 3rd and 5 here. 10:55 with the clock running, and they're maintaining control of this one 28-0. Lyle, he's got his play. Fakes that handoff, drops straight back, fires, and he's got Thomas Williams a little bit low. Williams couldn't come up with a catch, and that ball was incomplete at about the 25. So 4th down and 5, and I fully expect Tri-Valley to just run another play. This is not a punt position here for Coach West. I don't think he really likes punting the football at all, so they're definitely going to go for it here on 4th down.
Drew Lincecum on the coverage that time. Philo did a nice job.
Lyle in the shotgun. Again, they turn and get the signal from the sideline. They need at least 5 to keep possession of the football here. Not in a big hurry, although that play clock is down to 5 seconds. Lyle asks for the ball. He's got it. Drops straight back, fires across the middle, and he's got Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh's got it inside the 20 all the way down to the 16-yard line. Another throw right on the money to Ashton Sensabaugh. He's the leading receiver for this team, and he's got that first down all the way at the 16. Another WB Green Insurance first down for Tri-Valley. They're in control. They've got the football, and the clock runs here with 10:30 to go in the football game.
5th reception for 110 yards for Sensabaugh, who's been quiet since the first quarter. They really haven't gone his direction, but when they needed it there, they went right back to the guy.
Well, he's got so many targets out there, and he's not afraid to throw the ball to any of them. So Lyle, 1st and 10, 16-yard line. Hands it this time to Wallace. Wallace tried to use that burst and had to fight up into the middle of the line, only able to pick up about a yard or 2. And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 8 here for Tri-Valley. Clock now running less than 10 minutes to play in this game. Wallace again back there in the backfield. Wallace, Durst, both of them have run the football effectively tonight, along with Holmes at times as well. Lyle, they're going to milk as much time as they can right now. You're not in a hurry when you're up 28-0. Probably run that play clock down as much as they can. Wallace moves to his left, fake handoff. He's looking to throw it across the middle, has all day, and he finds a receiver who is wide open and hit him right in the hands. Thomas Williams had a touchdown and just dropped it.
You know what's interesting about that play is Williams was open from the 10-yard line all the way into the end zone.
And he waited.
Kyle waited and waited and waited, probably 2 or 3 seconds for Williams to get in the end zone, then he drops it.
And nice feet. He had his feet moving the whole time. I mean, very patient. He had a nice pocket and delivered a really good ball, but unfortunately Williams just let it go off his hands, and that's an incompletion now. 3rd and 8 for Tri-Valley as they're trying to pick this one up. Lyle drops straight back, pressure screen to Wallace, and he fumbles the football, and it's going to roll out of bounds at the 17-yard line. So going to be a loss as they set up the screen. Wallace had it, but then dropped the football. It rolled out of bounds, and now 4th down, and are they going to try a field goal? There's a mass.
I think I see Carter Dinan entering the field.
I think we're going to see a field goal attempt. So
outstanding.
Like I said, I've seen Coach West go for it a lot, and it wouldn't surprise me if they faked one.
No, don't do that.
But they're going to put the tee down at the 24-yard line. So this is going to be a 34-yard attempt from Dinan, Carter Dinan. And here, expecting the snap, and it's down, and I think that's going to be offside on Philo, and it is. They jumped quickly, and this is going to make maybe a change in the decision.
I think they still work on it.
Going to still go for it. Okay.
I think
or go for the field goal, I mean.
Yeah, I think they still work on it.
And that's going to move it up. Makes it a little bit easier attempt here as they're going to put the ball down this time. They're going to spot it.
That's only the 3rd penalty for Philo for just 15 yards, so little minor ones for the Electrics.
Boy, some confusion as to where they're marking the football. Just count 5 here, fellas. All right. They're going to put the tee down right at the 20-yard line. So this is going to be a 30-yard attempt from Carter Dinan. Thomas Williams on the hold. Lots of good things need to happen on a successful field goal attempt. Snaps back, holds down, kick is up, and it's going to be long enough, but it is just hooked left. No good. Carter Dinan just off the mark on that. What did we decide that was? A 30-yard field goal attempt.
And the coaches will take note of that, and I think that down the road will determine perhaps a play call either against Sheridan or maybe somebody else, but definitely in the playoffs, just what kind of, I think that's his 3rd attempt of the season. So, where do they stand with Carter Dinan on field goals?
And that also gave it kept it under a 30-point difference, which when you get to 30 points, it's a running clock in high school football in Ohio. So no running clock as we have 9:18 to play in this one. Preston fires it out, and it's caught on the 25-yard line. Nice catch there. A nice pickup on 1st down of about 5.
It's Griffin Wells
on the reception. A nice throw and catch there. I thought it was going to the shorter receiver right over his head to Wells, and he picks up about 6 yards. 2nd and 4 here for the Electrics from their own 26-yard line. And now I think they're in a must-throw situation all the time, but they do hand it off to Linscomb. He picks his way forward, and he's going to get that 1st down as he puts his head down and gets it all the way out to the 35. And that's a WB Green Insurance 1st down for the Electrics. 8:42 to play. They trail 28-0. They've got a 1st down, and they're trying to get some offensive consistency and at least get some points on the board in this one tonight.
7 carries, 32 yards for Linscomb, and they've been tough yards. They've all been between the guard tackle, so a nice job by Drew Linscomb.
Preston, this time he's going to take it himself, stops, makes a move, makes a couple people miss, gets it across the 40 and all the way out to the 50-yard line. Nice run from Talon Preston as it looked like he was stopped, made a move, made some people miss, got it all the way to midfield, and that's another WB Green Insurance 1st down for the Electrics.
Nice job of Preston of understanding the situation that Tri-Valley was collapsing the offensive line and saw that and just bounced it out to his left and gets the good gain.
Ball right at midfield as Philo, another first down, finally stringing something together here on offense. Preston puts Searles in motion. He's going to hand it to Searles. Searles makes a man miss in the backfield, trying to get that corner. Hansel Holmes got a hold of him and going to drive him out of bounds just inside the 50-yard line. Maybe a pickup of a foot or two, and that's about it. So still second and a long 9 yards here for the Electrics. Still 10. They put it back at midfield.
Nice job by Tri-Valley of staying home, understanding the play, stay in your lane defensively, and don't let him turn that corner. That was very nicely done by the Scotties.
And Hansel Holmes, again, another sure tackler there for the defense. Holmes was a first-team East District linebacker last year, so solid linebacker play from Holmes again. Preston this time hands it off to Lincecum. He pulls ahead for about 6 yards. Nice run there, nice hard run in between the tackles, as you said earlier there, Howard, as he picks up about 6. Going to be 3rd and 4 for the Electrics, and this is definitely 2-down territory for Philo.
And, this is similar to the drive they had in the first half where they mixed it up with the play, the pass and the run, and they've done a nice job of moving the chains this drive.
3rd and 4 now. Preston in that shotgun. He's got 4 receivers, 2 to his left, 2 to his right. Changes the play, it looks like, and he's shouting some instructions out to everybody. He's going to keep it himself, try to get that first down. He makes a man miss in the backfield, and he's got that first down and more as he runs the ball all the way down to the 25-yard line of Tri-Valley. Nice move again from Preston there to get himself free, and a designed quarterback run, and he picks up the first down plus all the way down to the 26-yard line of the Scotties.
19-yard scamper that time, and the same play that he busted just a couple of moments ago. He's got 11 carries for 70 yards, but Tri-Valley along the right side of the defensive line is not containing the quarterback.
Preston now going to throw it. Throws a little out pattern, and it's caught. A nice grab there going down to get the football, and I think that was Fink that got down and made the catch, kind of a shoestring catch, and that was Case Fink on the reception on a short pickup, although a nice catch from Fink as he went down and got that one to get that completion. 2nd and 8 here now, 6:21 to go. Tri-Valley still leading 28-0. 2nd and 7 now. Preston drops back, got some pressure, throws that swing pass out again into the flat, and he's going to get it up across the 20 all the way down to the 16-yard line. And that was Wells again on that nice little swing pass. That's been the most effective play for Philo, and if I was scouting Tri-Valley, that would be something I would want to make sure I've got in my offensive repertoire when I'm playing the Scotties.
Holmes again on the stop, so it's Lincecum and Holmes this whole drive.
3rd down and short here, maybe less than a yard for the Electrics. They're trying to get on the scoreboard here late in this one. 5:39 to go, and they trail 28-0. Hands it to Lincecum. He's getting those tough yards inside, but this time nowhere to go, and he has stopped maybe behind the line of scrimmage. So now we're going to have a 4th down play for the Electrics, and I would look for something with Preston with the ball in his hand again. He's made some really nice gains here offensively. They're going to call timeout and discuss this one. And again, at this point in the game, this is a score for Pride. They'd really like to get it in the end zone and not get shut out in this one, Howard.
Yeah, Mason Prouty, by the way, plugging up the middle for Tri-Valley that time, and he was, I think, solely responsible for blowing that play up by Lincecum. So they're going to measure here for the first down, so we've got a stop of the clock at the 5:16 mark, and there's no doubt they're going to go for it on 4th down. So for Tri-Valley, it's a matter of pride. For Philo, same situation.
I didn't think he got any yardage at all on that one, but they still are measuring it, and he might have actually got that one. And they're saying he needs about a foot here, so 4th and a foot for Philo, and they need this one. They would really like to get on the board as they trail 28-0, 5:16 to go until the conclusion of this one.
Yeah, this is advantage offense because You can go quick count by the quarterback. You can go on the dive with the running back. You can do a lot more, whereas the defense pretty much on their heels trying to stop the run.
And this is where I don't like the shotgun, but again, they fake it, and it's a short handoff, and I thought the fumble, it was fumbled, but I guess not.
Now, Tri-Valley has the football.
And they did that little short handoff. It looked like it looked like Preston was faking that. It got snapped over his head, and they did get it ahead far enough to pick up that first down, so it's going to be first down Philo on the 15-yard line. It was the motion man that came across and stopped and got that center from the center and pulled ahead for enough yardage for that first down. So an interesting play there from Philo on fourth down. Now they set up shop. Preston throws it out onto the flat. And that was Searles trying to make a move, and he does, and he stiff arms and gets out around about the 10-yard line. Got out of 2 tackles on that one. I guess marked down at the 11, so that's a 4-yard pickup. But Searles made something out of nothing there after he got that pass from Preston.
Give Philo a lot of credit for really trying to score on this drive and not give it up, and they're in good shape. But Tri-Valley, I see a little bit of, not necessarily a weakness, but some concern on the perimeter defensively against those little short passes.
All right, Tri-Valley trying to dig in and stop here. Electric trying to get on the board. Preston in the backfield. He's going to hand it off right up the gut, and that looks like that was Lincecum, and he got all the way down inside the 1. Marked down inside the 1-yard line, and that's going to be first and goal on a WB Green Insurance first down for the Electrics.
Hey, another nice run between the guard tackle combo for the Electrics, and they're punching it at the door, knocking on the door as we speak.
And this is one they'd like to punch in here and get on the scoreboard. 4:25 to go in this one. Got Lincecum in the backfield along with Fink. Hands it off to Lincecum, and he gets met at the 1-yard line, and he does not get in. Nice defensive effort there from Tri-Valley. No, they made some penetration there. There was just no room for Lincecum to go there, and that's going to bring up second and goal still from the 1-yard line here of the Scotties.
Yeah, that's once again Prouty.
Yep. This time, Lincecum was held short, but Preston, he's got the play, and he's going to bring it over and tell everybody what we're going to do here. And he's got Lincecum lined up behind him again. I would not be surprised to see Lincecum with the ball again. Hands it to him. This time he dodges somebody and gets into the end zone, and that's a Philo touchdown, and they get on the board here with 3:32 to play in this one as they trail 28-6.
Yeah, good job by Philo of getting it down the field. There's going to be a penalty flag down, I think. They're going to say no penalty, touchdown for Philo. So the Electrics on the board at the 3:32 mark of the fourth quarter.
And as I've said before, I'm pretty sure their place kicker, they had a freshman place kicker that was injured, not in a football situation, it was outside of football. And they've been going for 2 pretty much regularly since that has happened, and I'm definite that they're going to go for 2 here. 28-6, 3:32 to go, and they are picking up that flag as the official just waved it over his head. And they're going to mark this. They're right in the middle of the field. Philo trying to get this 2-point conversion to draw closer. They trailed this one 28-6, 3:32 to go in this one, and they'll be kicking off to Tri-Valley. High snap. Preston keeps it, then he's going to get stood up inside the 2-yard line, and he does not get in the end zone. So that unsuccessful 2-point attempt, and that's going to keep the score at 28-6 Tri-Valley. And we'll take a quick break. You're watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
If you're having any problems with your heating system,
AVC Sports presents high school football. This game was brought to you by Doan Ford, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abel's, Valentine Insurance, Wayne's Garage Door, Papa John's Pizza, Galaxy's Pizza, 209 Tire, and Guernsey County Children's Services.
Electrics getting ready to kick this one off, and Tri-Valley expecting some shenanigans here on the kickoff as they have got everybody. I shouldn't say everybody. They've got 9 players up there ready to receive what they're anticipating as some sort of onside kick, and this kickoff brought to you by Valentine Insurance.
Number 30, Carter Diner.
There are a lot of players up there ready, and this is the best hands they've got. And he does go ahead and boot it deep. It's caught all the way down at the 24-yard line, and it's downed immediately there. And that's where Tri-Valley is going to set up their offense, 1st and 10 with 3:30 to go in this football game.
By the way, we want to remind you that we've got some goodies to hand out at the end of the game, Dave.
Yes,
the drive of the game, the play of the game, the power alignment of the game for both teams.
And that that post-game report will be brought to you by Southeastern Med as we approach that one here with about 3:30 to play in this one. And I would anticipate seeing some running plays here from Tri-Valley just to try to get this clock ended and get out of Dodge with a 28-6 win.
Yeah, not a huge margin of victory, similar to what they've done most of the season, but very effective.
All right, still in the shotgun. Lyle, he's going to hand it off. Nice burst through that line of scrimmage there by Wallace, and he has shown that to us all night. Boy, he hits the hole in it just really quickly, and he's got some moves to go along with it. And that was a nice 6-yard pickup there for Jaden Wallace, bringing up a 2nd and 4 for Tri-Valley. Clock moving down, 3:09 to play in the ball game. Waiting on a player to leave the field. Lyle going to look over, and there again, Howard Deuce is going to let this play clock run as much as they can, use as much time as they can here in this drive.
Yeah, I think interesting for me too is they've gone with Lyle the whole way, but he's a sophomore, so he's got a lot of room for growth.
And it's pitched out to Wallace, and he's trying to get to the left side, and he can't get a nice pressure there from the defensive front from Philo, and they actually force Wallace into about a 3-yard loss. Nice job from Philo, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 8 now for the Scotties as the clock ticks down to 2:25 to go in the ball game.
But, coming back to the Lyle situation is, I think that's just a smart move. Get him as many reps as you can. You don't need to put it back up in.
He's still young.
Yeah, exactly.
This is his first year running the show. I mean,
exactly.
If he was a senior and, they're trying to maybe groom somebody to replace him in the future, but he's a sophomore, and they would like to have him get all the game reps that he can. I don't think they want him to run the football here, but and he's going to hand that off to Wallace right up the gut. Wallace bounces it out to his right. He stiff arms, tries to get loose, and he does, and he's going to get it out to the 35-yard line, and that might be the first down. It depends on where they mark it. That right foot, left foot thing, they're going to mark it at the 35, and I think they're saying 4th down.
Dylan Carpenter.
Well, that's marked. Yeah, that's first down. They're moving them on. That's definitely a first down. They were putting the yard marker down a yard behind where it was spotted, and that's probably going to be enough to end this football game. 1:30 to go. Scotty's maybe going to have to run a play or two here, and they're going to run that record here to 7-1 after 8 weeks of this high school football season.
And just as we say that about Lyle, they have a new quarterback.
He got a new quarterback, and he fumbles the snap. The young man comes into the game, he's getting his opportunity, and he fumbles the football on the snap.
Yeah, Wyatt Brocklehurst. So,
proud of your crew.
Brocklehurst came in there, and I don't think he was anticipating the snap. I mean, it just came back like it surprised him a little bit. But the clock now running, less than a minute to go, 50 seconds to play. Tri-Valley safely going to get their 7th win of the season. 28-6, they lead this one. Probably going to snap the ball 1 or 2 more times here, and this one will be over. Brocklehurst back in that shotgun formation. And he's letting that play clock run down, and he gets it, and he's going to take a knee, and that's going to probably be the last play of the ball game. And it is the last play of the game as the Tri-Valley Scotties have defeated the Philo Electrics 28-6 to run their record to 7-1 and set up a huge football game next Friday as they take on the Sheridan Generals. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with our Southeastern Med postgame report. You are watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
I was sitting in my car, and it wouldn't start. lifted the hood, and the engine was falling apart. What would I do? My eyes filled with tears. And on the radio, I heard of West 40 by Pay here, where for a little money down and a little each week, I could have a car, nice, shiny, and sleek. So I walked in the door, and I put the money down. Now I got a nice car that I can drive around. West 40 by Pay here will help rebuild your credit. The corner of Dewey and Route 40 in Cambridge, don't you forget it.
West 40 Auto Sales, corner of Route 40 and Dewey Avenue in Cambridge, is home of the guaranteed credit approval, with most loans approved while you wait. Go to their website to fill out an online loan application, west40autosales.com. You'll also find their weekly special listed there.
Greg Motor Sales, located at 2840 South River Road in Zanesville, would like to wish all the local high school athletes good luck with their upcoming season. At Greg Motor Sales, they sell used cars ranging from around $1,000 and up. If you're looking for your next affordable and reliable car, give Greg Motor Sales a call at 740-454-7060 or shoot them a message and follow them on Facebook at Greg's Motor Sales. This year, the Southeastern Med Cancer Services team is celebrating 30 years of being accredited by the National Commission on Cancer. Earning this accreditation and maintaining it for 3 decades is a testament to their team's quality outcomes, dedication, commitment, and care for their patients and community. Learn more by visiting seormc.org today.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-452-5050. That's 1-800-452-5050.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hilliard and Howard Twiggs back here at Duncan Falls, where the Tri-Valley Scotties have just defeated the Philo Electrics 28-6. Tri-Valley now runs that record to 7-1 on the season. Philo drops to 3-5 on the season, and that sets up a huge game next week as Tri-Valley will host the Sheridan Generals, which is going to decide basically the big league or the big school division of the MVL, and also has major playoff implications. Our post-game report here brought to you by Southeastern Med. I'll go over the scoring plays first. In the first quarter, Tri-Valley on the board first, a 34-yard pass from Sensabaugh from Max Lyle, and with the Dynan PAT, that made it 7-0. With 55 seconds left in the first quarter, another touchdown pass from Lyle, this time 5 yards to Williams, and with the Dynan PAT, it was 14-0. In the second quarter, 5:03 to go, Tri-Valley on the board once again, a 1-yard run from Hansel Holmes in that wildcat formation, and they lead at 21-0 at that point, and that's what it was at the half. In the third quarter, Tri-Valley extended their lead to 28-0, a 5-yard pass from Lyle to Wallace, 8:47 left on the clock in that one. And then the final score of our football game tonight, Philo got on the board with 3:32 to go. Linscomb with a 1-yard run, and that made the score 28-6 as they went for 2 and did not pick that up. So our final here, 28-6, Tri-Valley the winners, and I'll turn it over to Howard here for some stats.
All right, let's begin with the victorious Tri-Valley Scotties. Plenty of guys getting some action tonight for the Scotties, as you can well imagine. Durst led all players with carries. He had 13 for 45 yards. However, the leading rusher was Jaden Wallace, 9 for 55. Holmes, 2 for 4 yards, but a TD. That was that Wildcat that we'll talk about. And then Williams, 2 for 20 yards for the Scotties. So that adds up to not a lot of yards on the ground, but certainly enough. Passing Lyle, 19 of 25 for 279 yards and 3 TDs. Ashton Sensabaugh, 5 catches, 110 yards and a TD. Williams, 4 for 56 and a TD. Walker, 3 for 41 and a TD. And then Holmes, 2 for 45 yards. For the Electrics, they went the entire way with Talon Preston, and he had good numbers tonight, 10 of 12, but just 59 yards through the air. Cade Searles caught 3 for 18 yards, 1 catch for Phillip for 7 yards, 1 catch for Wells for 6 yards. Fink had 1 for 3 yards, but the leading receiver for the Philo Electrics tonight was Drew Lincecum, who had 25 yards on those 3 receptions. On the ground for the Electric, they were led by Drew Lincecum. Excellent night tonight for that young man. He had 49 yards rushing on 12 carries, 1 of them for a TD. Preston had 11 carries for 70 yards. Savage had a carry for 2, and Searles had 3 carries for 16 yards for the Electrics. Penalty-wise, pretty clean game tonight, as the Electrics were only penalized 3 times for 15 yards, and Tri-Valley 4 times for 37 yards. Tri-Valley did punt once for 33 yards. Philo punted a couple of times. So all in all, statistically, as you can imagine what the stats would be for the winning team, Tri-Valley, they spread it around. Great numbers by their dual-threat quarterback. Excellent passing game, excellent running.
Well, and as you said, probably the statistic that matters the most to Tri-Valley was 28-6. They were victorious, because I know we talked about it in the beginning of the game that this is a game that can be one of those danger games, because you've got the big one next week, and you just want to get out and execute and take care of business in this game, and that's exactly what they did. So I think the coaches have to be really pleased with their effort tonight and how they really just went ahead and took care of business tonight in this football game. We've got some special awards here that we need to hand out here. First, our West 40 Auto Sales Play of the Game, and I think I would go with that one you suggested.
Yeah, tough call, because there were some big plays by both teams, but I think the play that probably set the game in stone was the Wildcat run by Hansel Holmes from 4 yards that pretty much sealed the deal for Tri-Valley. So, again, on a night where there were several big plays, let's go with that Wildcat. I think that made it 21-0 and put the game pretty much out of reach for the Electrics.
Yes, it did. So, Hansel Holmes with that West 40 Auto Sales Play of the Game. We've got a couple other things here, too. We've got our Player of the Game, which is brought to you by Lock 9 Pizza. The Player of the Game brought to you by Lock 9 Pizza in Duncan Falls. Try their Wangus burgers. I got to do this. I haven't done it yet. Try the Wangus burgers with unlimited fries, 100% juicy Wagyu and Angus blend. It's the burger people come back for at Lock 9 Pizza in Duncan Falls. And our Lock 9 Pizza Player of the Game, and since it is located here in beautiful Duncan Falls, we're going to pick a Philo player.
And here's the thing, though. This guy had a really good game.
He did, and he gained some tough yards in between the tackles tonight.
He's going to end up with 12 carries for 49 yards and their 1 touchdown. Also caught 3 passes for 25 yards, their leading receiver. So our man Drew Lincecum is going to be the recipient of that delicious pizza from Lock 9 Pizza. And hey, you want to give me a call? I'll come over and help you celebrate.
He gets a certificate here for a free one-item pizza from Lock 9 Pizza here in Duncan Falls, and I'm sure, he appreciates that because it's close for him as it's here in his where his school is located. We've also got our Drive of the Game, and that's sponsored by Greg Motor Sales, and that Drive of the Game, Howard?
Well, you go back to the opening drive by Tri-Valley. They set the tone. They were error-free. They mixed the run and the pass. They capped it off with a 34-yard strike from Lyle to Sensabaugh. It was right on the money. Great throw, great catch, great protection, excellent drive. The first drive of the game was the one that set it all tonight.
And you're exactly right. It set the tone right off the bat. They made a defensive stop, got the football, and that drive that basically showed Philo that, hey, we can move the ball, we can run the football, we can throw the football, and that was, basically made them take control of the football game early and give them that 7-0 lead. So that first drive of the game, and now we have the Guernsey Electric powered lineman of the game, and this is kind of nice. They get a T-shirt, so we've got one from each school here that we're going to recognize. So our power lineman of the game, Howard.
Well, I tell you what, for Philo, they really swarmed to the ball. They were, in some cases, were undermanned through the passing game of Tri-Valley, but they hung in there, and I think a tough call, but I think in the end, probably the play of Ty Moorhead, number 40, did a nice job of rushing the quarterback, dropping back into coverage, helping stop the run. So Ty Moorhead is our Guernsey Electric power lineman of the game from the Electrics. And the toughest one of the night, honestly, is the award to Tri-Valley for the power lineman of the game. There were two guys that just absolutely, in my opinion, dominated this football game.
There were two of them.
And I wish we had two T-shirts, boys, but we don't. But honorable mention goes to Aaron Frew, and maybe our winner will let him wear it once or twice at school. But Mason Prouty, the guy in the middle of the line defensively for Tri-Valley, is our power lineman of the game, and he went both ways and just did an outstanding job. So both Frew and Prouty, excellent and well done, but Prouty is our guy tonight.
Well, that's going to wrap up our post-game show here, and that's presented to you by Southeastern Med. Again, I'm Dave Hilliard. With me tonight, Howard Twiggs. Our first time working together. Here has been Week 8 of the football season. We appreciate everyone that helped bring this game to you tonight. That includes Cam Summers and his crew of students from Mid-East. It's Paige Meadows, Blake Cryer, Caleb Abram, and also we really appreciate the work that Brandon Hickman did back in the studio. There's a lot of things that go on in the background to bring these broadcast to you on video and on the radio. Lots of things people don't really realize, and we really do appreciate all the hard work that those people put in tonight. Again, Tri-Valley has run their record to 7-1 as they defeated the Philo Electrics here tonight at Sam Hatfield Stadium 28-6. We appreciate everyone that's tuned in tonight or watched this game, or maybe you're even going to watch it on YouTube like I probably will tomorrow afternoon. Again, Tri-Valley 28, Philo 6. You have been watching and listening to high school football on AVC Sports.
Thank you for watching AVC Sports. Today's game is brought to you by Doan Ford, Patrons Buckeye Mutual Insurance, WB Green, West 40 Auto Sales, Southeastern Med, Abels, Valentine Insurance, AMG Vanadium, TK Auto, White Pillars Christmas House, Dirt Works, and Greg Motor Sales.